Give me a soft, subtle mix. And if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. It's probably the lamest song that I absolutely love. Summertime. That's a good place to open. Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods 97.3, The Fan. Good to be here with you. And yeah, summertime is here. Summer break for a lot of people out there. Not us. We'll be here working, serving our audience as we have been known to do from time to time. Did I fix my camera there? You can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com. Search Ben and Woods. And we are really corning it up today. All dressed in our summer attire. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl to my right. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Paulie rocking the Don't Hassle Me, I'm Local shirt from one of the best movies ever made.
One of my all-time favorites.
What about Bob? I'm not Bob. I'm on vacation. Okay, this isn't an appointment. I'm dropping by. It's one of the best movies ever made. Period. The end. The great Bill Murray.
He is City Fish, but he's loving it
up here. Is this corn hand shucked? It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And to my left, look who is back. Santa Barbara, Benjamin Higgins. Welcome back, pal.
Nothing better than getting off of vacation right into summer break.
Yeah, right into summer break.
Just a perfect transition.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back, man. Well, lay it on us.
The floor is yours.
Yeah,
The floor is mine. Yeah, well, I had a fantastic time. I did the bougie weekend with the family in Santa Barbara, played some golf, did some wine tasting, laid out by the pool, got a nice little tan. Feel very good.
What's up with your feet?
My feet.
Did you hear us talking about your feet?
No, I did not hear any foot talk. I did post a picture of my toesies by the pool.
Oh, we saw.
So
did about 10 minutes on it.
We did about 10 minutes on it. Yeah. One of our Phoenix Tree Rat, actually, one of our listeners said, why are his toes that way? And I said, to me, it looked like a leprechaun to me. To me, it looks, they were the feet of a man.
I want to know where to go at.
Paulie, would you have the drop? Because to me, it looked like a man that was maybe,
my God.
Right. They were like spread
curled
out. Yeah, your toes were curled.
My toes were curled.
Yes, and then somebody said no, they look like hooves, and so we did 10 minutes on your cloven hoofed feet.
I told you I've never been much of a foot maintenance guy in terms of
or a photographer,
pedicures or anything like that. I was more going for the scene that I was looking at from the lounge chair.
Right, but they looked like Vulcan toe. There was one big toe. If you look at the picture again, one big toe off to this side, and then four, all the other little piggies. The piggy that got roast beef. The piggy that got the piggy.
There's
went
a little
to market.
Window between the big toe and the second toe.
Yeah, you can fit a golf ball through that window.
The window.
Is that? Wally put it up in the chat. I could put. I'm trying to think of all the things I could slide between there. 2 decks of cards between each. I could get
a couple of books, like bookends.
I could do Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, one in each.
I mean, it's not Anna Karenina.
No War and Peace for sure. War and Peace in the middle of both feet. I could slide a few things through there. Is that how your toes, or is there usually that much of a gap?
Have you worn flip flops so long?
Maybe that's permanently.
Yes, let me see. Mind the gap, friends. Yeah, he's got a space. Oh my God! Yeah, you have it. Let me see. Here's mine.
I mean, if I can't really put them any closer together.
That's as close as they go.
I mean, I can kind of.
Oh yeah, he's pinched them together. Now you're pinching it. Yeah, that is something else.
Yeah, a little bit of a space. Is that unusual? Is that unnatural?
It looked a little odd. I will give you that it looked a little odd. But listen, we were starving for content, so anything that you posted, you knew we were going to take and break down at will, and we did. So good trip all in all.
Very good trip all in all. Yeah.
Any dramatics on the drive? Kids get hammered and wake up in the pool.
No, I mean, as always, the drive up on Friday was traffic laden. You just have to kind of grin and bear it. But once you get there, it's very peaceful. And the drive back was really easy. I met an eagle playing golf on Sunday morning.
An eagle?
An eagle. Yes, I shot a 76. Had a really
you
nice
made it.
round.
I thought you said you met an eagle.
No, and I made
said,
it.
So you did
3
mushrooms
on a
out
par
there too.
5, which is always fun.
Really good for you.
Add that to your scorecard. So that was enjoyable, and the food is amazing. There was a barbecue on Saturday night with lobster tails and tomahawk steak, and
Unbelievable.
I mean, all the dessert you can eat. I definitely cheated over the weekend on my program, added a couple LBs back, but I'm still net down over 20, which I think is good news for the first month of my diet with a nice cheat weekend built in.
JR says he can shoot pool with them. You could put a pool cue through your feet and really hustle people. Tom, the salesman, says other radio stations talks about sports. 97.3 talking about feet. Tom, if this is your first time listening, I'm not going to be a jerk about it. I'm just going to say welcome to the program. We're a little bit different than what you may be used to. Last night in town, there was really nothing. And then we had nationally the home run derby. And believe it or not, we will get to the home run derby at some point. Also, probably talk about tonight's All-Star game. We're probably going to talk about the games that you missed, right? You missed? Tom says I'm here for it. He likes it.
Okay, I was going to say, what sports hosts in America wouldn't take a victory lap like you and I are about to when we do talk about the home run derby?
Yes.
Our prediction couldn't have been more
better.
spot on.
It couldn't have been better. Save it, Paulie. Because it was great. I was standing up yelling for Randy at the end, and Bo's like, "Who is it? You against Paul?" I'm like, "It's me against Paul. I need 2 more home runs, and I beat this sucker." And it was really, really cool. Well, I'm glad you're back, man.
I just got a text from one of our tier ones. Are you guys high?
No, not high.
No, we're just in costume.
Not high yet.
That could happen later this week.
Might happen later this week. Maybe. I don't think I can handle it.
Better.
I don't think I could.
Summer break.
I know.
Relax.
Summer break. So kind of
the sit back and unwind.
The theme of this week, obviously with the Padres being on break right now, and they're all doing different stuff. A couple of our guys are down at the All-Star game, obviously. Les Madio from Juan Soto. I think Joe Musgrove, we talked about it yesterday. He said on the broadcast, going to load up a van, take his girl down to Mexico, camp out a little bit. It's a very Joe trip. I imagine Manny is recuperating. Our guess was, does he stay here at his nice house at Coronado, or does he go?
We had an off-air conversation yesterday.
Yes, let's talk about this.
It started with, we were talking about Blake Snell and how he, maybe he's the only guy in baseball that really wanted to go to the All-Star game and kind of got snubbed.
Yeah.
But he's going home to Seattle. He went home, I'm sure, Sunday night.
Yeah.
Probably could hear the ballpark.
He had a wedding.
Night.
He had a wedding. I saw that.
Okay.
He was at a wedding. His beautiful, beautiful girlfriend. They were up at a wedding.
Now, it's not a big deal. It's a 2.5-hour flight from Seattle to San Diego. But we go, does he have to then fly back to San Diego on, say, Wednesday night and then get on a plane on Thursday morning with the Padres to go to Philly? Now, how about Manny Machado, for example? Might very well be in Coronado. Might be in Miami for a few days. Would he have to, can these players just meet in?
Can we all meet
Thursday,
in Philly?
or do they have to fly as a team?
I think if they want to make their own arrangements, they're certainly certainly able to do that and just meet in Philly if they'd like to. However,
but the charter will leave from here
San Diego
on
probably Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday morning,
midday Thursday.
But it's hey, if you want it, it's here. Otherwise, this hotel at this time on.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to do the charter thing that if I was in Seattle like Blake, I'd probably just come back to San Diego, do the 2.5-hour commercial flight, then head right on over to the team charter plane. They handle all your bags, everything just waiting for you when you get up to your room in Philadelphia. You don't have to worry about, all right, how am I getting an Uber from the Philly airport? And where's the hotel? Let me find what hotel is it that we're going to? You don't have to think about anything at all when you're a baseball player and you're traveling with the team. They handle everything.
Yeah, they really hold.
You get off the bus.
Yeah, they hold.
Someone hands you a key with a room number,
Right.
and you go up there, and your bags are up there, and you are ready to go with
you don't have to
zero
throw down
thought
for
whatsoever.
incidentals.
No, you don't have to put down a credit card, anything like that. You walk up to your room, you fall into bed asleep if that's what you want to do. They make it so easy for these guys when they're traveling on the big league level. I think that's got to be one of the great perks of being a major leaguer.
Well, yes and no, because the travel would grind you down. They were talking about it on the broadcast over the weekend, and Don and Sweeney, both, Don obviously travels with the team a lot, and Sweeney played in the big leagues, and they both said, yeah, man, some of those trips, though, you're rolling in, you're getting off that bus at 3:35 in the morning, and you're walking in, you're like, thanks. And then you get up to your room. Not everyone's like you, where they can just crawl into bed and fall asleep. Bro, I'd be a wreck. I'd be up till game time. My mind would be racing, and I'd be like, I can't sleep. And then you start thinking about who you're facing. I mean, toast. I mean, I don't know how after a while, you probably get used to it. But man, early in your career, it's got to be a nightmare. But we were wondering about logistics because, again, the cross country road trip to start the second half is, basically, I don't want to say strike one, but it's basically like, all right, well, here's an issue. Here's an issue the Padres will have. And they got that ridiculous doubleheader on the second game of the break. So, hey, listen, we're excited for it. But this week was more of a chance for us to come in, have some fun, stretch our legs as we like to do. We'll talk about everything that's going on in sports and baseball, certainly, as we always do. But yeah, chance to stretch our legs and get a little nostalgic maybe about summer.
What was your favorite summer trip growing up? Did you have one like that, an annual vacation you went on with your family and all, or
so I was thinking
one
about
in particular that was a favorite of your childhood?
So depending on where I lived at the time, when I lived on the East Coast, we lived in Connecticut. We did a summer trip every year up to Watertown, New York. And it was upstate New York. My great aunt and uncle lived there. My uncle had a moped that was mine. When I got there, my dad would put the car in park, and I'm like, I'm out, and I would run and get on the moped. He'd have it ready, all gassed up. And I'd be like, see you guys in 6 hours. And I would just go ride the moped around for hours and hours. So I loved that. My brother was too little, so he didn't get a chance to ride the moped. But they had a pool, so we would swim. They would grill out. It was wonderful. My Uncle Ed is the one that had the massive Playboy collection. So when I say that I looked forward to going to Watertown every summer, my buddies would be like, hey, see if you can find the one that has so-and-so. And I'd be like, I'll find it. Don't worry. I'll rip the page out. It was amazing. So my parents would always like, where are they? We'd be upstairs in the spare bedroom looking at his Playboys. And it was awesome. But then for also a week, I would fly back to Texas for a week or two, stay with my best friend, Kevin, and then spend some time with family, see my grandmother, my grandparents, my uncles. All my relatives would then put me to work. So I'd be cutting their grass, edging their lawn, picking up weeds and stuff like that in about 115 degrees every day. But then after that was over, swim, Six Flags, Wet and Wild, where the girls at. Like I had the best summers. There was nothing like it.
It's like Woodsy lived in a country music song.
Pretty much, yeah. Where the girls at? Let me just cut this grass, because I'm looking for a piece of ass tonight. I'll write one in 5 minutes. Better than Morgan Wallen, I promise you that.
Open on Friday night.
Yeah, maybe I get to
Petco
open.
Park.
If somebody can find me a guitar, I'll do it right now. But Woods Country Summer, it's done.
Paul, you have any memorable summer vacations from your youth?
As a family, when I was younger, we used to go to the Oregon coast, same part of town every year. My dad helped this woman with her website. She did a vacation rental, like Oceanside Vacation Rentals. So we always got a really nice house right on the beach in Seaside, Oregon.
Yeah.
Near Astoria, where like the Goonies or Kindergarten Cop was filmed.
Yes.
Yeah. And
I picture it being like gray though, the whole summer.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's like a month.
Nightmare.
There's like a month where it's really nice.
Is it cold? Like
No.
65?
I mean, if it was in the 40s, like that's shorts or t-shirt weather.
Did you go looking for One-Eyed Willie's rich stuff?
Love the Goonies.
No, it's a great movie. So yeah, we would do that all the time. But then when I got older, like high school, especially when I had a car, one of my best friends, his parents were very well off. They had the lake house with the dock and the boat and the 2 jet skis and the water trampoline and the hot tub. And we had free run of the place. So we would just we'd stay there for like 2 weeks at a time in the summertime.
The best.
And it was only a 45-minute drive. So if you needed to go home, or if we worked on the weekends, we could just drive down to work and come back.
The best.
It's perfect.
The
We
best.
lived at the lake house.
Benjamin?
My summer trips were always the Laker playoff trips. Happened usually in June during the NBA Finals, when I went with my grandparents on a plane with the Lakers to wherever they were going to the playoffs.
It's relatable.
Just like a common man.
Yeah, just very
Dallas. We did
relatable.
Seattle one year for the Western Conference Finals when the Sonics were still in existence. That was fun. Houston, we went one time for a series against the Rockets. That was
Me and Woods are
always
clearly the
enjoyed those
outliers
trips.
here, going to the lake,
Right.
or visiting family
and friends,
stealing
looking at
Playboys.
Playboys.
I remember going to Boston. It was the first time I'd ever been to a hotel that had an indoor pool.
Oh, yeah.
It was like on the 4th floor. I'm going,
No, the fourth floor.
4th floor.
Yeah,
and you
fourth
go,
floor.
there's like a pool
The pool
inside.
on the fourth floor.
I grew up in San Diego. There's no indoor pools really in San Diego. You're not going to see that. I was like amazed. Oh my God.
We had a pool
You go
in my
down, you
hometown
get
that
out the
was
4th floor, you walk out, and There's a pool inside this
Yeah,
hotel.
No joke.
We had a big outdoor pool near the water in Seattle that was saltwater, a
Oh,
saltwater
yeah.
pool,
Love
and
the
that
saltwater pool.
freaked me out at first.
Yeah, it's
Disgusting.
the summer was great, man. It was great. And now, as a dad, I'm panicked about summers with that because I told Hannah last weekend, I go, we have, and they're not really even on summer break. Like they're both still in school. They're in school through the summer and they're still there 5 days a week. But I'm like, we've got to start planning stuff on the weekends. This let's wake up and figure it out bit doesn't work. You have to plan stuff. And
It's one thing you don't think about when you are a kid. Like, what do parents do?
well, I know what my parents did. They left. They went to work. And we figured it out. So now
Right.
my kids are 5 and 2. I'm not comfortable in that realm
Can't just
yet.
leave them. Now,
Yeah.
luckily, there
Much as I'd
is like a
to
summer.
sometimes.
It's not like, is it school, or
Yeah,
is it like
it's
a summer camp, like a summer daycare type thing?
it's the same place they've been going, and they're still learning stuff. Like they're learning about art. So Bo came home covered in paint yesterday. I go, what'd you guys do? He goes, we're learning about Jackson Pollock. And I go, great. I love this. We're at dinner Friday night, and he goes, Dad, I learned about an artist today. And I go, who? And he goes, Wasily Kandinsky. And I'm like, oh my God, you're a genius. Kid loves art. I said, okay, let's get into art. Let's do this. And yeah, it's really cool. So they're learning still, but they're having fun. They play in the water a little bit more and things like that. But man, I just want them to have the good summer memories that I had growing up.
Love to hear from some tier ones
Oh,
if you
yeah,
want to
dude.
share your summer memories.
You can also do bad summers.
Oh, that's even
Bad
better.
summers
If
are
you
always
had
great,
a
are
nightmare
always
of a
good.
summer vacation, a road trip from HE double hockey sticks, you can tweet
Say
us at
hell.
Ben and
Just
Wood.
say
hell.
hell for the love of God. You're
Or
a grown
you can
man.
you
You're
can
a
call us
grown-
833
You're married with children.
833
You're a grown man. Say hell.
hell.
Yes, thank you.
288-0973
breaks off to a great start.
833-288-0973. Give us a call here on the Fan or the Feed or whatever our radio station is called during summer
The
break.
feet. 97.3 the feet.
And then we'll talk a little bit about the Padres as well. And it is the draft is continuing. I think they're trying to make it relevant by putting it when nothing else is going on, yet still not really making the baseball draft all that relevant. Padres
Yeah.
did make a handful of other selections yesterday, though.
Also,
So
this the bit continued.
Yes. AJ Preller doing bits. I like it. I'm here for it.
why not? I mean, it's such a random the draft
crapshoot.
is a crapshoot exactly every year anyway. So we'll get into that as well. Glad to be back here on a Tuesday morning. Ben and Woods, Paul, we're all together again on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's see how traffic's looking on this summer morning in San Diego with Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah. Had to ask Paulie what scene this was, and then he jogged my memory. Where is my mind? It's gone. Fight Club. Pixies.
Final scene.
Final scene. Yeah.
Ed Norton puts his arm around Marla.
Yeah.
They just watch, like, because he realizes what the whole plan was
Right.
for the whole movie.
It's a good one.
And then you see the buildings like falling down.
Did you like Fight Club, Benjamin?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's not one of my all-time favorites, but when I finally watched it and realized what the hype was all about, the whole Ed Norton, Brad Pitt connection in the movie, I won't give it away if you haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
but
within 25 years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, they're the same person.
They're the
I'll give
same
it away.
person.
I'll do it. It's fine.
didn't realize that for quite some time.
That's why I love that movie so much, is that it's one of those types of movies where you watch it and then you watch it again, you watch it again, watch it again. You always pick up something new.
Something fresh.
Pulp
in it.
Fiction's kind of that way
you
for
go,
me.
You go back and watch, you go, oh, I should have known. Like
Yeah.
the Sixth Sense. Ooh, I should have known that every time he sees him, he's wearing red or whatever the hell the connection was in the Sixth Sense. That was brilliant. That movie was brilliant.
Yeah.
Everyone says, "Oh, I saw it coming." You
No,
didn't.
you,
see it.
you're a
didn't.
lying turd.
You
is
didn't
what you
see it
are. If you say that,
coming.
you're an idiot.
It gets you because it seems so obvious.
Of
after the
course,
fact.
yeah. And you see, you're like, I am the idiot here. That
Yeah.
I missed this entirely.
Totally.
It's a great movie, though.
Ever since that movie, though, I watch every other movie looking like, okay, what am I not getting? What am I not understanding?
No question.
Like, no, it's just a regular movie.
Heather
There's-
in the chat just said that she's never seen it and now it's ruined. Yeah, they're the same person, Heather. So
Sorry to spoil it.
sorry to ruin it.
What's the statute of limitations on spoiling movies?
10 years? 10.
It's
That's
been
almost
now?
5. 5 years. If you haven't seen a movie in 5 years,
Fight Club came out in
When it comes to streaming TV, it feels like it's 48 hours.
Yeah,
so
seriously.
it's like, okay,
October
you
of
better watch it
99.
fast.
99.
it's been more than
Quarter
10
of a
years.
century almost.
Been a long time.
So just quickly, the Padres continued the draft yesterday. Now it feels, I saw a stat that kind of shocked me when they said they did not take a pitcher in the first 7 rounds of the draft. I'm going, how do you build, especially a franchise that needs arms and depth? And we've seen how, they've tried to bring up guys from AAA without much success this year. How do you build any of that depth if you're not taking any pitchers? Now, that surprised me, but when you realize also they didn't have a 2nd or a 5th round pick, it's not like we're talking about a ton of picks in the first 7 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 picks for the first 7 rounds.
Well,
So they went with position players exclusively before they nabbed a couple of pitchers late yesterday. They did the first 10 rounds were completed in the draft yesterday.
when you've drafted Head and Wilcox and Wood and Head again, and then you have a chance to draft Bush, you have to take it.
How
And
can
that's
you
new
not?
Bush, actually, because
Bush.
we had drafted old Bush before, so we got new Bush. Homer Bush Jr. is the new Bush on the San Diego Padres. Old Bush was good; he was a good player, but new Bush promises to be a little bit better.
4th round draft pick, Homer Bush Jr.,
Yeah.
very athletic, takes after his father, the former major leaguer who
I believe
actually
he still lives here.
won
Homer
a World
Bush.
Series against the Padres in
Yeah.
1998, playing for the New York Yankees. But now his son has a chance to, well, let's be honest, probably be traded at some point by AJ Preller if he's still around in a few years.
It's what we said yesterday about Dylan Head is
Don't
that
get too
like
comfortable.
yeah he's oh man I visited San Diego, it's my favorite place on earth. I'm like, yeah, you're saying all the right stuff. Doesn't really matter at some point. If we have to flip you for an arm in the next couple of years, believe you me, we're going to do it.
I mean, mixed reviews on Dylan Head. Now,
Yeah.
if you're comparing him to like the hype that other AJ draft picks have gotten, it's really not fair because AJ has had a lot of picks in the first 10. You're not picking when you're picking at the end of what are they 27th or something that they picked Dylan Head.
25, I think.
You're not getting the same caliber of prospect as you would in the first half of the first round.
Yeah, you never know. There's a lot of guys that you can pluck late. There's an interesting pick. There's 2 interesting picks they made late, Benny. The 222nd overall pick, guy by the name of Tucker Musgrove, which is fantastic.
no relation to Joe.
Unrelated. He's a two-way player, but he logged a 5.72 ERA, and then he hit 258 with no home runs and only 30. I don't know that you call yourself. He's a two-way player like I'm a two-way player. Like I can pitch and I also hit very lightly. So, okay, fine. Not really your double threat that maybe you wanted, but again,
might be a good fantasy camper with you someday, though.
Could be.
For his ability to both throw and play the field.
And you never know. But then the other one is a guy. I mean, could you get a better name in 251st overall pick than Cannon Kemp? He's from Weatherford High School, which I know very well. It's around where I grew up. 6 foot cannon, by the way, Cannon Kemp. 6'6" righty, throws 95. However, he is committed to University of Oklahoma. And you get picked 251st overall, you may go test your abilities.
And the Padres with the lack of the second and fifth round picks because of the signing of Xander Bogaerts, that also lowers their bonus pool that they're allowed to give out.
Yeah.
And they may have to make a couple of tough decisions on guys if they want to sign Dylan Head. It may mean a couple picks down lower in the draft. They won't have the money to convince them to give up their college scholarships because. If a guy has a full ride to a top program like in Oklahoma, you're going to need to, sweeten the pot enough for them to give that up and start a tough minor league career at age 18, age 19. That the end game may be 5-6 years away if everything goes well.
He's looking at it going, well, if I go to Oklahoma and dominate, I'm going to do a lot better than 251st overall. What's the commitment they have to stay if they commit to college?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. So that's a big commitment. You can go out and start working on your pro career now for probably very little money as the 251st overall pick, or full ride. I'm going to go and play at OU and have fun. And then
baseball is not football or basketball in terms of NIL, but now in college, you can maybe make a little bit of money on the side. The scholarship is probably worth anywhere between $25,000 to $50,000 a year with room and board and everything that's included, the training that you don't have to pay for. So think about, in that you're going to have to offer well into six figures to convince someone to give up a good college scholarship now and go the minor league route.
Another interesting pick, Daniel Gonzalez, a catcher out of Puerto Rico, Ben, 17-year-old catcher with a lefty swing. So AJ wanting to restock the catcher position, which fine by me. One of these guys will hit at some point. And but yeah, I don't get too excited about the Major League Baseball draft anymore. We did maybe 5 years ago when we started as a show. We did. I mean, really, really some deep dives because you expected that some of those guys were drafted then would be ready now for the alleged window that is starting here with the San Diego Padres. Things have gone a little differently though.
All right, we'll come back. I guess I've got the two greatest home run derby prognosticators in America.
In the world, I think.
Sitting here in the studio with me. And we'll talk about last night's festivities at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. The format is definitely the best they've ever come up with. I think it still has one major flaw, though. And I will discuss that when we come back as well. Ben and Woods on a Tuesday morning on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan brought to you by SC Johnson Raid. Home Run Derby in the books. Got the All-Star game tonight from T-Mobile Park in Seattle. It'll be Zach Gallen on the mound for the National League.
The mound.
And it will be Garrett Cole making his first All-Star game start for the American League. Surprised that he hadn't started an All-Star game before, but this will be his first one. Nothing on the line anymore. No home field advantage.
Don't get hurt is on the
God.
line. That's it.
Very good point.
I liked it. I don't know why I did. I just did. I liked when it determines something stupid once I think about it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, actually means something. It
should determine who
it
the home
shouldn't-
team
I
is
know,
in next year's
I
All-Star
know.
game,
It
I
shouldn't.
guess.
It shouldn't.
It doesn't. It did. I don't think it. The only thing that I didn't like was when they had the tie.
That was terrible. Terrible.
That was not fun, and so they had to. They felt like they had to create something in order to make the ending mean something that managers would have to manage to win at the end of the game. But can you just tell them, manage to make sure someone wins and loses at the end of the game? And I'm fine with it. I don't need actual stakes attached to my All-Star game.
Agreed.
But
imagine getting to the World Series, having a better record than the other team, but sorry, your relief pitcher All-Star didn't get the job done in July, so you don't have home field advantage.
Pretty stupid. I'll admit it.
Nothing,
it's pretty stupid, but I liked it.
Nothing on the line for the Home Run Derby. In fact, winners of the Home Run Derby oftentimes tank the rest of their season for whatever reason, whether they get their swing in a funk or whatever happens. But
they did say, though, that some guys use it to get going.
Well, they kept saying that about Juan Soto last night.
But he did not.
They kept saying it, though. Wow, the Juan Soto Home Run Derby championship really turned around his season last year. What are you talking about? He came to the Padres and struggled for a month and a half after the All-Star break last year.
Yeah.
It just kept saying it as though it was just a known fact.
Julio, though.
Juan Soto was so good after the All-Star break last year, and going like, did you not see how badly he struggled after the trade deadline?
And again, it could have been the change of scenery and all that. You don't know, but they're saying with Julio Rodriguez, maybe this is what gets him locked in. He has not had the best start to the season, but maybe this is what gets him going. He looks, he
looked good in the first round,
yeah,
and then he wasn't quite as locked in the second round. It was eliminated. So
ran out of gas a little bit. It looks exhausting. Well, just watching it gives me anxiety because those guys were grinding through that thing.
Hard to read anything into it, but we will talk about the competition and your fairly accurate predictions from yesterday right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, a 15-minute instant drive-thru oil change. Looks like they cleared that crash on the southbound side of the 5 coastline past Palomar Airport Road. But if you're heading out of town on the 5, guys, keep in mind 3 right lanes remain blocked at Christianitos northbound 5, all due to investigation of a fatal accident in which a pedestrian was struck. Also traveling on northbound 5 before the 8, we have reports of some tire debris and metal debris. It looks like a semi in the center divide. Maybe the culprit there could have had a blowout, so just watch out for it. Take it extra carefully. Move over lane if it's safe to do so. That's northbound 5, just past the 8. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for discounts and locations nearest you. Valvoline Oil Change centers are open 7 days a week. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It up, gotta have one.
I don't think he did it.
He did not do it.
Oh, my.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. will hang on and win the 2023 T-Mobile Home Run Derby.
I think they went a little too quick, and it took away from Rosarena's consistency.
Yeah, and Randy Rosarena had a chance to win it in his bonus time there at the end in the final 30 seconds, but could not quite get it done.
Lost by what, 2?
I couldn't tell. That was my one big complaint, because I like the format, the head-to-head, the timed. It's a far cry from when, remember when it was at Petco Park and Will Myers had like 1 home run and you get 10 swings. That format never really worked all that well. This one works much, much better, but this flaw was exposed when you really get into a close match at the end, like the final was, and you can't really, on television at least, keep track of how many home runs are necessary, how many they've hit.
I can't tell you how many I thought were gone, and I see all the kids in pink running to grab the ball.
It's impossible to really have an idea of where anyone stands at the last second. Kind of sapped a little bit of the drama out of it. Like, did he already win? Is he 4 away?
Right, yeah. How many more does he need?
He's got a couple of swings left, but I don't know if this is the dramatic walk-off game winner or not. And when he swings, I got no idea if it's going to be a home run or not, or if it's just a deep fly out to all the kids scrambling around in the outfield. So it's the one thing that I don't know that you can ever totally fix. Now, when it was just one swing at a time, you could follow it, and then you weren't missing. But when you have like 3 balls in the air at once, they just keep throwing it and throwing it and throwing it. You lose track of exactly where everything is in play at any given moment during the home run derby.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I love you kind of know sometimes when it's off the bat, but man, I got confused or fooled many times during that. But I love that. I love the event. I think it's a brilliant event. The fans were going nuts for Julio, and he performed really well for being the hometown kid. Paulie and I were kicking that around yesterday. It's kind of tough when you're the hometown. Now our baseline is Will Myers, and we saw how that went. Now, also very important in the home run derby, having somebody that can actually throw you BP. Will Myers chose his brother. He got hit by a pitch at one point. That's a mistake. I get the sentimentality of it, but you also need somebody that can lay it in where you want it. And Julio's guy was great until he wasn't. The dude for the Rangers, oh my God. Pitching Ninja did an overlay of 4 of his pitches this morning. I mean, he was throwing cutters away. Alonso's BP pitcher, oh my God, that's Pete Alonso. That's his World Series. Like, he doesn't really care what the Mets do the rest of the second half. He does not really
Pete was
care.
probably throwing, hey, throw me some sliders.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to show.
He was up against it because Julio put 41 up right in front of him.
You're toast.
Like, if you don't get off to a fast start in the first 30 seconds, you're done. It's over.
And his guy throwing him cutters away, and he's trying to go oppo, and I'm like, oh my God. But the pitching Ninja, I retweeted it from Ben and Woods this morning. He did a 4-pitch overlay on Aaron Myers, who was pitching to, I know, yeah, that was Pete's guy. Aaron Myers was pitching. All these balls are tailing away to the outer half of the plate, and Pete's
chasing.
Pete's trying to yank him out of the yard. It just did not work. So having a guy that can lay it where you want it is really clutch. I thought Adley Rutschman was awesome.
For someone who went out in the first round,
yeah,
Adley Rutschman acquitted himself
Maybe
very
my
well.
favorite first round performance.
Might be the best way to go. Like, go up there, hit 26 home runs, show it from both sides of the plate, get some huge, like, wow, everyone's talking about you, but go ahead and lose so you don't have to
do it again,
do another couple of rounds. And I mean, by the time Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won that thing, he looked utterly spent and exhausted.
Well, when he had to go first in the final after just having gone in the semis, I was like, oh, I got Paulie in the bag because I had Randy Arozarena. And they said, oh, this is great because Randy doesn't have to set the tone here. And Vladdy went out and just got on this streak of just ripping balls into the stands. And it was awesome. I love the event. I think it's fantastic. Watch it every year. Every year I'm like, I go into it with a little bit more of like, oh boy. And then as soon as it starts, I'm all in. All in. It was great.
Mookie Betts was eliminated in the first round. Apparently that was my pick. You guys gave me Mookie.
Ben, you do a great job.
It's who you would have picked anyway.
There's no chance.
Yeah, you would have.
Let's be honest. I did like.
No, he's got 11 leadoff home runs.
26 homers this year.
Respected the fact that he wanted to do it because he said it's one of the things I just haven't done yet.
Yeah.
He's had a really good, solid all around career. He's won a title. He's won a batting title.
I get it. You love
Mookie Betts.
Everyone likes Mookie Betts, even though he's a Dodger. He's hard to dislike. He's a really good bowler. I mean, everyone likes Mookie.
Does nothing for me. He's just a good He's a good baseball player.
He's a good baseball player, but he had never done the home run derby. He got like, I got to do it at least once, right? I mean, and I respected that, and he was out in the first round. And Vlad joining his dad, who won it in 2006, is a cool story. So baseball got its nice show, and it's fun. Day before the All-Star game festivities. Couldn't have really gone much better, I don't think, for Major League Baseball.
Somebody smoked a kid in the face out there. That was interesting. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
That's the second year in a row. I don't think it was Pete that smoked this kid. I can't remember who it was. You remember last year, some kid like tore his ACL, and they had to help him off the field, and Pete's at the plate dancing. Remember? He didn't know that. I mean, maybe,
Yes.
And he was dancing at the home plate, and everyone's like, hey, dude, there's a kid that almost died out there. Maybe you settle down, Skippy. And then last night, a kid just goes to catch a ball. I mean, these are the biggest players in the world. They're hitting the ball between 100 and 120 miles an hour. And you've got middle schoolers out there running around, a bunch of them, too. I think we need more space out there. Let it breathe a little bit more because I hope that kid's okay. He got smoked in the face. Right?
Yeah.
No good.
He was waking up with a shiner.
100%.
That's for sure today. Hopefully, okay. But yeah.
So I was watching last night, seeing all the players, whether they're in the Derby or not, everybody's having a great time. We talked about yesterday some of the snubs, like Ellie De La Cruz. Should he have been there? Ha-Seong Kim, Blake Snell, etc. I started thinking, how insane is it that Fernando Tatis Jr., he's not a rookie, been in the league a few years now. He's only made one All-Star game. He didn't make it his rookie year in 2019.
They didn't have one.
We didn't have one in 2020.
Yep.
He made it in 2021, and then he was out for 2022, and he didn't make it this year. I'm like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
He's the face of baseball.
He's about to go on a run, though. They gave him his little punishment. You know, it's wild. You see A-Rod up there calling the festivities, right? And, I know he's hired by the network, but I think this will be the year. All the players did their, okay, we're going to keep him out this year, even though he already served his suspension. Keep him out this year, but I think he's about to go on a nice historic 8, 9, 10-year run of All-Star games.
I mean, it was a stretch to keep him out this year.
It
Even
really
with missing
was.
20 games, he really was the Padres' best player.
He was blackballed.
It
in the first half of the
had
season.
nothing to do with his performance. Nothing whatsoever. It was guys taking a moral stand, and keeping him out. And I think that goes away. I do. I think it goes away.
I said yesterday it was a bummer for Ha-Seong Kim, especially like where he ranks with the metrics, but he's not a household name, I don't think, across the sport. So I could at least wrap my head around that. Fernando Tatis Jr. has like a top 5 jersey, top 3.
The third highest selling jersey in baseball. Suspension.
So what are we doing here?
And part of it, of course, is the fact that the Padres are 4th place, 4 games under 500. Had the Padres been in first place, killing it record-wise, I think they would have found a way to get 5 or 6 Padres onto the team. Even if the stats were about the same, they would have said, let's reward this team. They're playing well.
An all-star,
let's put them all on the all-star. But it's hard to justify giving a 4th place team 5 selections to the all-star game. And, so a guy like Lourdes Gurriel Jr. gets in because the Diamondbacks played, so well in the first half of the season. It's more of a team reward that gets transferred to an individual player rather than a straight, all right, head-to-head, who's the better all-star, who's had the better first half of the season, Ha-Seong Kim or Lourdes Gurriel Jr.? And, I'd say Ha-Seong Kim overall by a wide margin, actually, when you count things like defense, which, by the way, should count. When you're talking about all-stars.
I mean, Ozzie Smith made it every friggin' year. So, yeah, I'd say it counts. I mean, it's not like he was a bad hitter, but he's not Fernando Tatis Jr. So, I understand that, but it's hopefully this is the old one and done, for Fernando, and he needs to get in there. Needs to get in there next year. It's important to the game of baseball. And I think, if Ellie De La Cruz obviously continues on this pace that he's on, which – it's hard to imagine. Every day I'm like, all right, it's gonna come back down to earth. Seemingly he doesn't. So next year you'll probably see him make his debut as well. I did not mind him turning down the home run derby at all. I know he took a little criticism. They asked him if he wanted to participate in that, and he said, nope. They're in a run. Like they're on a playoff hunt right now in Cincinnati, and I kind of like where his head's at on that.
Well, guests on Ben Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall Chevrolet. Find new roads. I'm back, which means Take on Woods is back today. Chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. Our musical trivia challenge feels like a very summer break sort of activity. Play some music, play some games. That's very summer-like. So if you want to join us in our next segment, chance to take on Woods and win fabulous prizes here on Ben and Woods. Also, some interesting comments yesterday at the All-Star game. Don't know exactly how I feel about these comments because they're generally positive about the Padres, but it's where they were coming from that makes you feel not so great about it.
I was not happy about this, but that should come as no surprise.
But they are positive about the Padres. It's weird that you feel not good.
They?
I think they are.
I feel we'll talk about it.
You feel a little dirty.
I do. I feel a little dirty.
We'll get to that coming up next. It's Ben and Woods, first hour down on a Tuesday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So we talked to lots of Padres fans who still have faith in the team this year, and they gave us all reason to have a little bit of optimism going into the break. Obviously, would you say? I wasn't here yesterday. Would you say that was the best week of the year for the Padres? This last week,
5 out of 6.
5 out of 6 wins.
Yeah, I think so.
Impressive performances all around.
Yeah.
Just good
Limiting
play.
guys like Alonso and Ohtani.
It's a great tweet, by the way, you sent.
The stat of Shohei Ohtani and Pete Alonso going 0 for 20.
No, your feet.
Oh, my feet.
Yeah.
I was
Did you
watching the
send
game
one
on my
about them?
phone.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It was probably their best week, which has shielded them from what could have been a quite ugly All-Star break. If they had limped in, lost, 4 of 6, and pretty much sealed their fate for the year, we would be talking incessantly about the changes that need to be made for the Padres. I mean, look at the Yankees. They're 7 games above 500. They fired their hitting coach for the first time ever under Brian Cashman. The GM has never fired a coach in season in the history, and he's been GM for almost 30 years of the Yankees. Never fired a coach in season. Did it this week after the team disappointed. They're, I think, 21st in OPS, 27th or 28th in batting average. So they fired their hitting coach. Actually, this morning, reportedly hiring Sean Casey as their new hitting coach. Is that correct? Did I see that right?
That you are correct. I can't say that I guess the way that I mean, he and Booney are real tight. They played together in Cincinnati. So that's his guy. Does that bringing in a Sean Casey, does that guarantee you anything at all? No, he's been an analyst on MLB Network. And I'll tell you, when we've had him on the show, it's fantastic. When they stop down and he does a little, when him and DeRosa, when they do a little hittings, I love it. Bill Ripken, I love it. I will sit and watch that and try to take in as much of that knowledge as I can. I'm fascinated by hitting. But I don't know that Sean Casey getting there can make Anthony Rizzo not hit 180 and Giancarlo not hit 180. And I don't know. How much value do we place on that? And Sean Casey was a good hitter in his career, certainly, but who knows?
Well, the problem with firing a coach in season, and we talked about it as fans have clamored for the same thing to happen in San Diego for the last couple of months, is you can't really promote anyone from within because they're simply doing the same things with the same people. You're not changing anything if you just, let's just see if this guy, if we make a slight change, that this guy is going to make a huge difference. It's not. You have to go outside the organization to find someone with a different voice and different ideas. But, experienced good hitting coaches are not just sitting there on the sideline in July waiting for a job. They've already been hired. They're working somewhere. So you really kind of have to go outside of the box like the Yankees did if you're going to make a midseason change like this. And it has the potential to go really wrong. What does Sean Casey knows a lot about hitting, but does he know anything about being a coach, about transferring that information to other players and working with guys? I guess the Yankees are going to find out here in the coming week.
He certainly hit in a different era, right? He certainly hit in the, I don't want to say the non-information era, because there was a lot of information at his disposal when he hit, but not like there is today, and not like the Yankees have and are able to provide. So I don't know. Can he translate it? Is it a better scene for some of the Yankee veterans to have a guy that they know has done it at that level and done it well? Maybe it remains to be seen. But Brian Cashman is kind of the ultimate. He found a scapegoat and he used it, and he got rid of his hitting coach. And frankly, some of the moves he's made over the last decade or so don't really set them up for massive amounts of success either. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him, and I think he found a fall guy.
So brings me back to the point, Padres, giving some reason for optimism, but at the All-Star game yesterday, UT's Kevin Acee spoke to a number of fellow National League players who also had optimism in the Padres turning things around in the second half of the season. They just all happen to be members of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw, in particular, was extensively quoted about how not only does he think the Padres are going to bounce back, but really he thinks it's good for baseball if the Padres end up, in the playoff chase and potentially as a playoff team at the end of the season, because he wants to see teams that go out and spend money on veteran players and hand out big contracts to do well. And that actually makes perfect sense from a player perspective, Woods.
It does. And he's not the first guy to say that. It is a weird thing for the Mets, who have spent a fortune in the offseason. It's a weird thing for the Mets to be where they are. It's a weird thing for the Padres to be where they are. Spending a lot of money benefits the players. Yeah, Kevin Acee spoke to a lot of Dodgers, and they were all kind of giving us the proverbial pat on the head. Oh, no, they'll be fine. They'll get there. Which, I mean, it is what it is. There's part of me that's like, well, okay. I mean, at least they know that this team has it in them to go on a run. And I think we all know that too. We just haven't seen it yet. But then the other part of me is like, all right, just relax. Worry about your own scene over there. Don't worry about what we're doing.
Mookie Betts says they'll get it together. I'm sure they'll get it together. They'll be right in the thick of things when it comes down to playoff time.
It's also like a reverse curse I think they're trying to do on us right now. We should get the energy healer back on again to reverse these fake nice curses that the Dodgers are putting on us. But this is when you can start to overthink things.
Ultimately, I think that's the sentiment around most players in baseball, that they want the teams that that spend money on payroll to be good in the end. I don't think fans always feel that way. I think fans, for the most part, especially the ones in smaller markets that aren't San Diego, they want to see the little guys. They want to see the Cincinnati Reds and the Arizona Diamondbacks
Wait,
and the Miami Marlins pull off upsets.
What fan bases outside of those fan bases that you just named are rooting for the Marlins? If you're a Marlins fan, obviously you're rooting for the Marlins, but I don't think a guy in Colorado is he like, hell yeah, dude. No, he wants Dick to spend more money.
Yes,
You know
but
what
I think he also would love to see the teams in their own
Sure.
division fall flat on their face that are spending money.
Absolutely. But I don't think that changes. I think it changes a little bit with money, but I don't think that changes year to year anyway. If you're a Rockies fan, you want to see the Padres spit the bit. You just do. You want to see the Diamondbacks falter. I just don't know. It's a weird time for baseball because when you have the commissioner of baseball coming on, he's like, I don't think this is a good idea, and I don't think this is sustainable. In his mind should be, man, look at the health of our great game that the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres can spend, blah, blah, blah. And, him getting his hands in Peter Seidler's checkbook never sat right with me. You know that. It never sat right with me, him commenting. Now, he's looking like a genius right now, as is Dick Monfort, but the season's not over yet. Padres can go on a run and justify spending that much money if you get into the playoffs and get hot at the right time. And there's still time to do that.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods? Haven't had a chance to play since last week. This is your opportunity to qualify for a trip for two to Las Vegas. Call now, 833-288-0973. Our phone lines are open, so you have a chance to get in and play here in about 2 minutes. 833-288-0973. Call now, Take on Woods, right around the corner here on Ben and Woods. Just those comments that we were talking about appeared in Kevin Acey's piece in the Union Tribune from the All-Star game. And I think we should mention, you might have seen the news yesterday that the UT, which had been owned by the Los Angeles Times Company.
Yes.
Patrick Soon-Shiong, the billionaire and doctor in Los Angeles who bought both of the newspapers several years ago, sold the UT off. It was announced yesterday to a group that is essentially, and I kind of read up on this yesterday, but people in the newspaper business, not a big fan of this company.
That bought the UT.
Basically a consolidator, cost cutter. They're known for eliminating a lot of jobs, reporter jobs in the newsroom.
Could they eliminate the Chargers report card?
It's possible. Yes, it
because
could
that'd
go
be good.
at the end. But I feel bad for some of those people who are probably have worked there for a long time and are going to be sweating it right now at the
It's
UT.
tough
and
in media,
ultimately,
man.
whether you like what you read on a daily basis or not, it's always good for your community to have more local coverage,
No doubt.
more people covering your teams. Less coverage is always going to be a bad thing. Even
Correct.
if you totally disagree with the coverage you're getting, at least you're getting it. At least you can say, hey, I didn't like what they wrote about my team today. I totally disagree with it. It's a heck of a lot better than going, some AI generated report on the game was put out
man.
today. And
Brutal.
you get nothing. I certainly hope we don't see more of that in San Diego because
Me too.
that's a sad day for the local coverage and of our team. And I wish all those people at the Union Tribune the best of luck going forward,
Same.
whatever happens. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right. I see people calling in. Let's get to it. It is time to play Take on Woods. It's our musical trivia game. We've got Ralph on the line. Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
Good, man. Good, guys. How are you guys?
Good. Have you ever played our game before?
I played in the kitchen.
All right. He
not
plays in
online.
the kitchen, so he knows the rules. If you can beat or tie Woods, you can qualify for our monthly grand prize drawing. It is a 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Skid Row and Warrant. Going to be performing at the Westgate Las Vegas Theater there. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com. September 30th, the big day for the show at the International Theater. Check out the hotel, $70 million in room renovations, all at the Westgate Las Vegas. All right, you get to pick our category. Woods has left the studio. He doesn't hear this part of the game. Here are your choices today, Ralph. We got this category, again, 5 song titles that end in the word again. But who's counting? That's a category all about counting. And we've got That's All You Get, as in get is the first word in all 5 song titles. So, Ralph, this category again, but who's counting or That's All You Get? What would you like to play?
Oh gosh. Okay, let's go with That's All You Get.
That's All You Get. All right, so you get 5 song titles, each starting with the word get, G-E-T. You'll have 60 seconds. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. When you come back in, Woods will get the same 5 questions. We'll compare and see how you do. First questions are a 2-second song. Actually, we're going to play a little about 4 or 5 seconds today. And if you give me the title and the artist, you score that point, and we'll go on from there. Ralph, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Paul, you ready? 60
ready.
seconds on the clock. The category, That's All You Get. Your time begins when Paul plays our music. Good luck, Ralph. Let's take on Woods.
No, pass.
Daft Punk teamed with Pharrell Williams on which 2013 hit about romance and good fortune?
Oh, man. Pass.
Which late Beatles hit is about a man who thought he was a loner by the name of JoJo?
Pass.
The music video for which #1 hit from 1988 features Billy Ocean driving, sometimes with cartoon characters.
Pass.
You couldn't kick off the festivities in 2001 without playing which lead single from Pink's second album?
Oh, no.
My God. Team. Pass.
All right, back to the song.
Give you a hint. It starts with get.
Get what you get.
You get what you get, but you didn't get any, unfortunately. Ralph plays in his kitchen, but sometimes it's a little harder to play once the clock starts ticking
Pressure,
and
yeah.
Woods is waiting. You know what? Let's bring
just
Woods
wait.
in
All right.
before we give the answers out and see how he does. And you can all play along for a second time here. All right, Ralph's score is locked in. New contestant, has played in his kitchen many times, but this is the first time he's actually gone up against you in real life. 60 seconds back on the clock. Time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Ralph.
Get off my cloud, Rolling Stones.
Correct. Daft Punk teamed with Pharrell Williams on which 2013 hit about romance and good fortune?
Get Lucky.
Correct. Which late Beatles hit is about a man who thought he was a loner by the name of JoJo?
Get Back.
Correct. The music video for which #1 hit from 1988 features Billy Ocean driving, sometimes with cartoon characters.
Get out of my dreams, get into my car.
Correct. You couldn't kick off the festivities in 2001 without playing which lead single from Pink's second album?
Get This Party Started.
Cool. Very nice.
Well done.
Is that right?
Yes, 5 for 5.
Yes.
And a win, 5-0. Sorry, Ralph.
Oh.
Thank you for playing, though, and continue to play in your kitchen. Work on your skills, and maybe you'll be
See you back
ready.
here.
Maybe you'll be
nervous.
ready in a few months to try to take on Woods again. But Woodsy, good start to the week for you.
Thank you. It's been a minute. I was a little nervous.
I know you're a little out of practice,
A
but
little out of
you're going
practice.
for a perfect month here, and I don't think you've lost yet.
Have I not?
You had a tie once.
I had a tie.
but,
That's right.
Have not lost yet in the month of
I'd
July
love
on
a
Take
perfect
on
July.
Woods.
Would love a perfect July.
All right, we got Don't Do This coming up next, including a major turnaround in a huge college football story that's being reported, probably the biggest story in sports right now. So we can get into that update and more coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
It's time for Don't Do This.
What were you thinking?
3 stories from the world of sports that make us all shake our heads.
Why? How many times do I have to tell you?
I'm sorry, I fudged up, guys.
You idiot. You moron.
The apple sometimes does fall from the tree.
Don't Do This
Do not tweet that.
with Ben and Woods
I like a Nickelback song or two.
on 97.3 The Fan.
The segment of Ben and Woods brought to you by the Golf Mart. I'm finding out that floppy hats and headphones aren't necessarily the best combination.
No,
I found out that polarized sunglasses and computer screens
yeah,
are not great combinations.
I feel
You're good.
fantastic.
You're
I got
good.
just the Hawaiian
You
shirt.
took
on.
your sunglasses
I
off.
did. I
though.
did. I do look like a burnt out ex-detective, like a cop.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Like in
yeah.
the Hawaiian shirt. Just I'm burnt out, probably on the take, just running from IA. That's how I feel right now. Anyway,
Kind of like a less sexy Magnum PI.
yeah, way less
Yeah.
sexy, way less sexy. More like a Gary Busey in Point Break. I think is more of the look that I'm going for today. Well, listen, it's always a bummer when one of your guys takes a big fat L and gets roasted for it. Now we have had our pal Dave Softy Mahler on this radio show for many years. When there's anything Seattle related, we call our pal Dave Softy Mahler. I do like Softy. Softy does grab an L yesterday, though, at the All-Star game, in my opinion. See what he did, Ben?
All right, so he is at the
All-Star game,
the home run derby, the festivities yesterday,
he's
the
down,
press conferences,
down
whatever.
on the
Okay,
field.
Yeah.
He's getting some content. That would be cool. That'd be awesome to, be down there. At
We
the
weren't a
All-Star game.
show when the All-Star game came
No,
here
we
yet.
weren't. We would have been.
Yeah.
We would have had a real good time, allegedly. But
Maybe
so
we'll go to Arlington next year.
maybe. Sure, Odyssey will foot the bill for that with our miles and stuff. But no, I digress. Softy's on the field yesterday. He's getting some audio. And it's like, if you know Softy, you're not super surprised by this. But once he gets out to the public, one person drags, the next person piles on. Our man Softy, he took the L yesterday talking to Orioles reliever. Is it Felix Bautista?
Yep.
Hey, Felix, what do you think of the Orioles calling you the new King Felix? I don't know. Would you rather have him stop that? Does that belong to Felix Hernandez? Yeah. It does. Okay, so do us a favor as Mariner fans. Tell the Orioles social media team to knock it off. will ya?
God.
Thank you.
Oh, God. So he's just getting roasted. And I mean dragged
So he's
through the mud.
He's trying to defend Seattle and in the original King Felix
yeah.
Hernandez.
Yeah.
Tell Baltimore to stop using that for one of
But
their
it's
players.
it's not him. Felix Bautista didn't show up and go, I am the new
No.
King Felix.
No.
Everyone fall in line. They do the crone zone, right? Like it is what it is. Softy being a little bit, get off my lawn, trying to do a bit didn't work. Posted
didn't really work.
Got crushed. I mean, I went through some of his
It was weird.
replies this morning.
I saw that early and I didn't think anything of it. And maybe it's because I know
You're a Softy guy. You
and-
grew up with Softy.
And
You
I'm
love
just like,
Softy.
it's not even that I liked it or didn't like it. It's just like it didn't surprise me one bit that he
Right,
did that.
that he did that.
So it'd
And
be
then I
like-
started seeing like Barstool wrote about
Oh,
it,
he
awful
got
announcing. Like
crushed.
he was
Crushed.
getting murdered. I'm like, I guess everybody didn't
It
like
would be
that.
very much like if the Rockies came to town, we went up to CJ Crone and go, what do you think about the Rockies using the Crone zone for like your nickname when obviously that belongs to
Jake
Cronenworth here in San Diego?
It'd be more
Tell
like
him to knock it off.
if the Marlins social media team nicknamed Jazz Chisholm the Babe. And somebody in New York was like, hey, that's not you, right?
Hey guys, I want you to meet Juan Soto, aka the Splendid Splinter.
It's Manny Machado, the Iron Man.
I will say, and Paulie brought this up before the show. I almost had a heart attack when Ryan Helsley came out to Hell's Bells. We did.
And that was actually his choice.
We flipped out, and he chose that. Now,
Felix Bautista probably didn't have
he's
anything to
probably
do
like,
with that.
what? Leave me alone, old man. But Ryan Helsley, get it? But
Yeah,
it's
of course I
already
get
been,
it.
it's
You
been
can't
done.
do that,
You can't
though.
do it.
I remember people had a problem with LaDainian Tomlinson being called LT, even though those
It's
were
his
his actual initials.
Yeah,
Just because there's just one LT. It's Lawrence Taylor.
Oh, it drives it drives people crazy. It drives people. When I used to do the Fernando Mania for Fernando Tatis, Dodger fans would. It's part of the reason why they want me dead. I'd be like, oh my God, Fernando Mania is here, and they would lose their minds. Listen, as far as the Dodgers all-timers go, I couldn't have liked Fernando Valenzuela more. I thought he was amazing. I grew up watching him pitch. Spectacular. He's the Fernando Mania. I was just doing a bit. Softy was doing a bit, but it comes off as he's just a grumpy old man. Hey, tell him to knock it off. He has no control over what they say. So, sorry, Softy. You got to hold that L today.
Wait until Robbie Snelling starts going by Snellzilla. There's only so many nicknames for everybody out there. Let's see. I know you guys talked about the gnarly hazing scandal at Northwestern yesterday that looked like it was going to cost head coach Pat Fitzgerald a 2-week suspension.
Yeah, in the middle of summer.
Big about face yesterday as he was fired yesterday in the wake of the hazing scandal by the president of Northwestern University. Now, Pat Fitzgerald released a statement saying, hey, nothing has changed. We had an investigation. Lawyers, said, I didn't know anything about this. We agreed on the 2-week suspension. And now all of a sudden I'm fired. And they went back on everything that we had agreed on. I think it brings up a really interesting question. If you're the head coach or the manager, if you're the guy in charge and something happens under your watch, even if you're not aware of it,
I don't believe that anything really significant can happen without
Paulie,
the head coach.
I agree, and we
of it.
in
college football in particular.
Were we around for the Paterno Sandusky thing? No. Okay, it was after us. Joe, before. I made the point on the first show I was on. That was a long time ago. I made the point of in Happy Valley. I don't think anyone takes a leak. With Joe Paterno was essentially the mayor of Happy, he was the deity of Happy Valley. And there's no way that he wasn't aware. In fact, it actually came out.
Jim Harbaugh knows every single thing that happens in Michigan.
Yes.
Nick Saban knows every single thing that happens at Alabama.
There is no question. No question. Now, the fact if he was involved on it and there was a report that came out that he would do, now there's no video evidence as far as I know. We haven't seen it. It hasn't been made public. But the thing
I
is,
imagine there is, though.
They would
Do they not have film in practice?
He would clap over somebody's head like, all right, Ben screwed up. And the guys would see it and be like, all right, time to run. But did you find out what running was, by the way?
Running.
Yeah. Did you read? Did you
just the details of the
running? So it would be like if you messed up,
missed a tackle
or something. Paul missed an assignment. Paulie and I would bring you in, and we would strip you nude, and we would restrain you, and then we would dry hump you. Which again, like I said on the air yesterday, I don't know how that's going to make me better off the edge. When I come around, to make that tackle, I definitely wouldn't want to do it again. I wouldn't want to get run more than once.
The players know that that's inappropriate, though, at this point. This is not, we didn't know we were doing anything wrong. They must have known that that's unacceptable behavior in the year 2023.
It's always been unacceptable.
Well,
behavior.
It always has been, but especially now. So wouldn't it stand to reason the players would all go, hey, make sure coach doesn't find out about this.
I mean, maybe, but
because we're going to get in trouble if coach finds out about this.
Unless he says, hey, run his ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is very, very plausible.
But you read in the story that he is on the sidelines
clapping,
giving the signal to upperclassmen.
If players were came out and said, we were really careful to make sure coach didn't know what we were doing, is he still responsible?
Yes.
Because he's the coach.
Yeah. I mean, if the kids are out on a Saturday night buying beer illegally and going out, he's
dorm party.
He can't really be in every place every time. That's happening in his locker room, by the way, in front of his coaches, in front of the equipment manager, in front of other players. If it's in your locker room, if they were back in the dorms or out in the woods somewhere, how's he supposed to know?
Okay, but because it was happening in the locker room, you've got to know what's going on.
You have to.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just
have to.
Kind of bringing up both sides of this story.
Elisa raises a great question in the chat: is why is so much hazing stuff sexual? I don't get it. I don't get it either. Testosterone. I mean, If somebody was like, all right, man, you messed up. It's time to elephant walk with Paul. I'm passing. I'm going to pass. You can kick me off the team. You know what the elephant walk is? All right, I'll show it to you.
We'll tell you during a break.
Thanks.
You can imagine.
Can I pass as well?
Yeah, you can pass. Oh, and I have a nice little doo-doo
good.
for us.
DD mega doo-doo.
Just a little audio of Padres left fielder Juan Soto was asked yesterday by Derek Jeter how he's enjoyed. I think it was Jeter, maybe it was Big Papi.
It was Jeter.
Jeter asking him how he's enjoyed San Diego and how the fans have treated him.
How are you enjoying the fan base in San Diego?
It's incredible, man. It's just unbelievable. Like you say, 75 and sunny every day. It's really nice. The people there is really amazing. I have neighbors and everything. They bring me gifts and all the kind of stuff. I'm like, this is what you're looking for. I mean,
What kind of gift? What do they bring you?
I have a little neighbors. They make grapes and everything.
Okay.
They bring it from Mexico, so they give it to me, and this is unbelievable. I love it. The city, the restaurants, everything is just incredible.
Yeah.
They bring him grapes.
They bring him grapes. I thought about it in my head. If Juan Soto was my neighbor, the amount of pictures that my kids would color for him that I would be forced to walk over and leave on his doorstep. Hey, Bo drew you this today. I have no idea what it is. It looks like a frog or a strawberry here.
Can we just put these with the
right.
others?
Put these with the others. It's so sweet. Whoever his neighbors are, you guys rule. Taking him grapes from Mexico and taking care of him. And that's the good vibes that he's getting in San Diego.
Do you think that Scott Boras is going to take that into consideration when they go into free agent negotiations
Like,
about
Scott,
his future?
but the grapes, I can't get these anywhere, man.
We can take less money to stay here.
Here's the thing.
It's grapes.
It probably doesn't, Ben. But you know what it will say? You know what it does say? That we, being San Diego fans, we did everything in our power to make sure he stays. And 41,000 a night, 39 sellouts has proved that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Juan Soto wants to play in a place where he knows he's going to get 41,000 people on a Tuesday night against the Pirates, you're here, man. You are here, and this is the spot for you. So Padre fans are doing everything they can to make sure that he's a part of this team. We don't stroke the checks directly, and it's up to him and his agent where he wants to be. But San Diegans doing everything they can to make him comfortable. That made me happy.
I'm going to fully admit here, Paulie wanted me to come clean on this.
You come clean.
When I saw him last night.
Oh, I wasn't even going to make him do it.
When I saw him last night, I go, why is he even there? Is he like there as the defending champion? Why doesn't he just take the week off? He's like, you don't have to be there just because you won it last year. You're not participating in the home run derby.
You said this during a break.
And I totally had forgotten. Well, he's
Why was
actually
he
an
there?
He's actually an all-star.
I go, he's an all-star. He's playing in the game. He's having a really good year. I think his OPS is like 960. Ben thought he was like, I got nothing else to do.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go hang.
Just hang with the
I
home
really
run
wanna
derby guys. I
stay
won it
in.
last year. Maybe I have to. It's like the Masters where the guy, even if you miss the cut, you have to put the green jacket on the guy.
Yeah, you have to
next year.
stick around.
Does he have to go and crown the next champion?
Ben's like, this really sucks because he could have been home resting right now. And the
What is
fact
he
that he's
doing
got to
there?
hand that. Why is Marshawn Lynch here? Juan Soto, I thought was supposed to hand it. What the hell's going on? You do forget. He is one of our two all-star representatives. So you're a gem. I'm going to chalk that one up to too much wine, too much summer vacation. Yeah.
Thinking Fernando Tatis Jr. should be there actually, but I will wear that one. That I was going like, why is he even there?
Paulie, a
That's weird.
taskmaster. I was going to let it
Why
slide,
is
man.
he even there?
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
So good.
All right, if you want to join us, we still want to take your summer vacation stories,
Oh, yeah.
mostly disasters. If you had like a horrible summer trip from your youth,
Oh,
or
I love
with
those
your
bad
kids,
stories.
or a bad road trip, please, it's Ben and Wood summer break. Share it with us next. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Also got a really, really big second half coming up for the San Diego Padres. The Dodgers believe in them. Do the Padres fans still believe now that their team can turn it around, especially after this last week going into the All-Star break? Get to all of that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Sour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. At Cars.com, check out the possibilities. Cars.com. Where to next? Which is a reminder, if you want to call and share your summer road trip nightmares or vacation stories, just summer break stories, 833-288-0973. You can join us right now on
Summer
Ben
break
Woods.
hotline is open.
Screaming. I got when I get really nostalgic, I get a little sad. You know, you do. You look back and you're like, man, I've gotten old and times are different. And it's just hard. I was thinking back to some summer breaks I had, and depending on where I lived at the time, you know, some of the things, both my parents worked full time. So summer break for me, when I was, let's say I was probably 11, my brother was 6. I had him, you know, so it was us hanging out, playing home run derby in the street, us riding our bikes, playing football, going to see the homies in the neighborhood. But it's all fond memories. All of them are fond memories. Going down to 7-Eleven, riding our bike down to 7-Eleven, get a Slurpee on a really, really hot day. Bro, it was like the cobwebs of nostalgia. I was like pouring through them this morning driving in. I was listening to old songs to try to get in the right headspace. And, you know, you think about as a dad, you know, you got 2 kids, but now happy birthday, by the way, to your youngest.
Yep. Graham just turned 18. I have 2 adults.
2 adult kids.
I have 2 adult children now.
You do?
Yeah.
So you didn't do the bit where today Graham's moving out of the house.
No.
I'm going to do that bit.
That would be unfair when his older brother is still very much in the house. But you at 18 have to leave now.
Hey, happy birthday. I'm going to need you to leave your key. All right. Good luck to you. Where are you moving?
You're now on your own.
Yeah, you're on your own. Yeah, that was how it used to be back in the day, right? But I was starting to think, like, what did your kids do in the summer?
Oh, you know, we had a variety of, had the camps that they would go to, and not sleepaway camps. Usually they were more of the day camps in the morning, or we would do like swimming lessons and summer activities like that when they were younger, to teach them about, water safety in the pool stuff. They're just trying to figure out ways to fill the days when they don't have school, essentially.
Yeah, just playing defense all day.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep them occupied. By the way, Kurt reminds us in the chat today is 7-Eleven.
Oh, yeah.
You get your free
Slurpee
Slurpee
day. Yeah.
God, that was a great day. And we would watch movies. We would go rent movies and watch movies. And we played a lot of sports. A couple of my friends had a pool. Spend the whole day in the pool, talking on the phone to girls. It was just the best. It was the best. And I was like really bummed.
What would you do?
This morning.
What would you do right now if all of a sudden you just had the next 3 months off?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I have not had. I honestly, since I work 2 jobs,
easy Lord vacation.
I haven't had more than a straight week off though in 25 years.
Is that right?
Where I actually had
TV, no radio,
no TV and radio for more than 1 week straight in 25 years. And I can't even imagine what I would do if all of a sudden, hey, the next 2.5 months, you're off. You just can fill the time however you want to do it. I might be lost a little bit.
I would be.
I try to figure out what to do for 2.5 months.
Well, I mean, do I have my kids and my wife?
No.
They're gone. They're on
free.
Summer break.
Yeah, you get 2.5 months of freedom.
Probably never see Woods again.
I mean, would you take off? Would you?
I'd do at least one good solid bender and recover for about a week.
At the beginning.
Recover for a week, and then I'd play some golf. And then I would maybe I would read. I would read. I miss reading. I don't really have time to read. I say that. I do. I just choose not to. No, I would relax. Remember the movie Office Space when he goes, if you had $1 million, what would you do? He goes, I would do nothing. I would sit on my ass and do nothing. I'm like, I've never related more with that in my life. I could lie and say, I'd go back and help out the community. I wouldn't. I would donate to stuff, but I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be out there like feet on the ground. Just being honest here. You wouldn't either.
No, I mean, if I knew that like every year I was going to get 2 months off, maybe I'd start to think about like different ways that you'd spend that time.
You would play 36 holes of golf every day.
You'd get tired of that, even though after a few weeks. Yeah,
I think you would.
Yeah,
you would. What are we going to do when we retire?
That's a good point.
I'm not doing a newsletter. I'll tell you that. I'm not doing a podcast. That's for sure. I'm not doing a show in my basement. That I promise you. Once I'm gone, I'm gone.
You're going to have to find fulfillment, though.
It's true.
That's the tricky part.
Idle hands are the devil's plaything, Benjamin. I don't know. Travel a little bit, probably. Drive around, see some. I've never been up the coast, go up, do that bit. Spend some time in Hollywood and drive up to San Francisco.
One of those open-ended vacations.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just come
Big
back
Sur,
when I'm ready
I've
to
always,
come back.
Always wanted to see Big Sur. Like, that's on the bucket list of places to go. Go to Tahoe. That's another place I want to go hang out a little bit. So yeah, I think I could be fine. Manufacture some things to do. But I feel bad for my parents. We didn't do I told you we did the one trip to Watertown. Drove up there and hung out with some family. It was great. It was a blast. Something I look back on very, very fondly. But yeah, for these days, it's hard. I'll tell you, I'm so domed out as a dad. My kids ain't going to any camps ever. No, I'm reticent to let them even go to a day camp. There's just I read too many stories, Ben. There was one you told me this morning about a soccer coach, and he left his phone at a Pizza Hut, and they found it, and the videos they found on it.
This was from Tennessee.
Yeah, so disturbing that I don't even want to talk about it. But I'm like, bro, I'm not sending my kid off to sleepaway camp. There's just no chance. I just don't trust it. I trust no one. I really don't.
My wife was telling me the other day she had read something that it's a growing trend today with parents who have kids. There's no sleepovers anymore.
Correct.
That was an absolute weekend staple at my house. Like,
can I stay Can I say Saturday night too?
Right.
Sure, go ahead.
Now you're like, dude, I don't know where you're gonna be. I don't know who's gonna be there.
There's
it's totally valid.
There's one set of parents that I would let Bo spend the night at. And I don't even think he could do it. I think he would be no, come on. But I'd be like, all right, I'll come get you.
You remember growing up.
Bro, I'm driving him everywhere he goes for the rest of his life. I have the type of schedule that allows me. I'll be at every practice. I'll be at if he wants to take Taekwondo or something again, I'll be in the dojo. I trust no one. No one. And there's too many stories that come out on I had no idea there's this many creeps in the world.
I don't know that anything's really changed, though, from when we were younger.
I know, right? It's no more.
You just hear about them now because we live in an information age, and stories from Tennessee find their way to your internet feed in 10 seconds, whereas you may have never, ever heard about that ever, a story like that when we were growing up. But I don't know that much has actually changed. We just have more awareness of the world around us. And those are still extremely rare stories. 99.9% of times that, kids go and sleep over, everything is absolutely fine. And it's probably a very good and healthy experience for them. It's good to get out of the house and, get over, overcome some of those fears and, get used to living outside of the comfort zone of your parents' house. And if we shelter them from everything, how is that going to serve them later in life either?
No, you're right. I mean, it's a hard line that you draw, right? Because I'm trying to teach Bo, even at 5, I'm like, nah, dude, you put your own clothes on, get your own water. Like I always do the bit with him. Are your legs broken? And he laughs and laughs. Then he gets up and gets his water. Like little things on a daily basis. I'm trying to teach him to be a little bit more self-sufficient, because it is our job as parents to get them on their way. But it's also my job as a parent to make sure that, some karate coach doesn't do something he shouldn't do, because then that's it for me. I'm no more Ben and Woods. I'm inmate number 4777 in the correctional facility. It's just not going to happen. So there's a bit of sheltering that needs to happen these days, I think. But it's tough. And with our job, it's cool. Like when they're old enough and they're on summer break and they can sleep till I get home, we can go do stuff every day. As long as I keep this gig, this is a pretty good gig for a dad to have in the summer. Don't you think? Like I can take them somewhere every single day.
Absolutely.
Go do something. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's one of the major benefits of this gig.
All right. We're a little overdue for a check of traffic, see what the roadways look like. And then a couple more minutes this hour of Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. We saw this crash on northbound 15 just before University. Couple cars involved there over the right shoulder. And that traffic alert in effect on the coastline, northbound side of the 5. You're still going to find the 3 right lanes blocked. near Christianitos. This is all due to investigation of fatal accident which a pedestrian struck early this morning. So heading out of town on that North 5 coastline, do expect some delays. Slowing starts around Las Pulgas, stays pretty much in the single digits all the way up toward Christianitos. Your local traffic brought to you by the easiest casino to drive to. The Ajas is just 25 minutes from downtown San Diego and one simple exit off the 8 freeway. No topsy-turvy, poorly lit roads are needed to win big. Arrive safely at San Diego's luxury gaming destination, the Ajas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Did you guys do the Higgins family? Did you do summer trips and stuff? I know you were on the Lakers team playing, hanging out with Michael Cooper playing backgammon, but did you do did your dad say, all right, we're going to DC this summer?
You know, we never really did. I was in year-round school, so we never had summer vacation when I was younger. We would have like
year-round school.
So you'll have it in still in Encinitas and places where you don't get all summer off. You go for like 9 weeks and then you get 2 weeks off. And that
okay.
So I had break in November and I had a couple of weeks in August and I had break in like February.
Oh, so you didn't get the full
so
3
I
months.
I didn't until I got to like high school. I never really got a full summer vacation.
Well, in high school then, did you guys, what'd you do?
I mean, we went on trips, but never like a full like yearly family vacation to the same place every year, to the road trip every year. We go on different trips at different times and mix it up. And we did some fun things, certainly, but there was not like that one Higgins family vacation. Oh, it's July. It's time to go on the family trip.
People that grew up here in San Diego, I'm massively, massively envious of you because what a great place to grow up and spend your summers.
Yeah, and like when I did have time off in August, why would you ever leave San Diego?
100%.
Go somewhere hotter and more miserable,
right?
When you could be here where it's
tropical,
great, the beach
beautiful.
Is perfect. And,
yes,
so yeah, we'd usually stay here, and I did junior lifeguards and things like that.
You did?
On the beach. Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Get the red bathing suit, and I
to
didn't like the running. I hated that part of it.
I need you to make him into a Baywatch character, ASAFP, Paulie. Like stop everything else, make Ben into Baywatch. Running down the beach in the summer. I'm begging you.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
what a great place to grow up.
Had
though.
to fill some time. Yeah, you never want to leave during the summer at least.
God, no. Yeah, I think that's going to be even though I say that now, but I'm old now. But like if I grew up here, it would have been over. I've been in the water all day, swimming, having a great time. I was so jealous. Didn't have that where I was 115 degrees every single day of my life. But you guys don't want to share your vacations. It's fine. 833-288-0973 if you did.
All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
I'm excited for this next segment. We talked about this months ago when it came out, and Paulie has done us all a favor. And we are going to we're going to pop the top on something next.
Pop the top, literally.
Yeah,
on something next.
Yeah, literally.
You have not made
summer break.
This is one of those things that I am not aware of. Again,
yes.
You missed a few days. You don't complain about not knowing what's going on.
Somebody says
it could be a reward. It could be a punishment.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll find out.
Somebody said in the chat, no wonder Ben is so big on vacations now. Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't want to act like I was deprived of vacation.
I don't think anyone thinks you were deprived.
That's certainly
not
the
the
case.
Magic. Do they have? Can you order me a Coke and pass it back? Thanks, Magic. Oh, watch out, Kareem. Here comes the peanuts. No one thinks you were deprived, you turd. No one.
All right, we'll come back. 8 o'clock hour is next. It is summer break for Ben and Woods on the All-Star break for the Padres on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, halfway home. Summer break for Ben and Woods. It's weird to be on summer break, but still be working, don't you think?
Well, it's only work if you feel like it's work.
That's true. And the way
point.
you're dressed and the way I'm dressed right now, it's almost like we're on vacation.
We're just three guys hanging out on vacation in front of microphones.
That's exactly right.
This week.
Exactly right. No, I mean the season is at a standstill right now. You got the All-Star game tonight. Very excited about that. Always enjoy the All-Star game. I actually hope that Hader doesn't get in. Just give him a nice long rest. It's the tough part about an All-Star game. You never want to see your guys embarrassed. Like if I was a Dodger fan watching last night, I'd be mortified that my guy only hit 11 home runs. He had a great season. He's hit them when they count it, right? 26 home runs already for Mookie Betts. But you never want to remember Will in the All-Star game, and you're mortified. It's a mortifying experience. It's a lot for a fan to go through sometimes. And if your guy, if Soto boots a ball out in left field tonight, we're going to be like, oh God. It's just that weird thing.
I agree with you. I wouldn't mind if Josh Hader's that pitcher they save in case there's extra innings, because you always have to make sure there's now an arm or two in reserve so you don't end in a tie. And if he doesn't end up getting into the game, I'm okay with that. Now, I did see that Josh Hader has not been pressed that much. I think he's like 19th in innings among closers, so he hasn't been overly worked in the first half of the season. Yeah,
you've had some blowouts, and you've had some blowouts the other way, feast or famine type.
He had a couple times where he went over a week without even
went 10 days at
picking
one
up
point.
a ball, because they didn't need him to close any games. Now he did have the 3 in a row just recently, so in that sense, I wouldn't mind if he gets a little break. But same with the Padres starting pitchers; they've all, for whatever reason, Joe got off to the injured start, so he missed some of his early outings. Seth Lugo was on the IL. Walker's been on the IL a little bit. So none of them have pitched a tremendous amount of innings. Darvish hasn't pitched a tremendous amount of innings. He missed a couple of weeks with his illness. Everyone's arm should be okay going into the second half.
I'd like to keep discussing this, and I'd like to keep discussing where we are at the finger quote halfway point, but I'd like to do it over a cocktail, if that's okay with you. Paulie has brought in, for us not to digress here. This came on the scene a couple months ago, and I remember when they said they announced it, I said, oh, I might be in on that. Now I don't really go for I don't drink much at all anymore. And I certainly really don't go for the canned drinks and whatnot. My wife gave me a sip of her Cutwater margarita, and it almost knocked me on my ass. I had one sip of it and I could feel it. I'm a big lightweight these days.
I had a White Claw for the first time like a year ago. I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. I mean, when summer would come around and I was a little older, that's when you got to worry, right? Your parents are like, where are you going tonight? You're like, oh, don't worry about us. We're going out to a bar that serves us underage. Right. So, I mean, those days they would be at work. We would sit and drink a lot of the day. And that's just what you did when you were 18, 19 years old and you get off to college, and boy, you really go after it. But when they announced this Sunny D vodka seltzer, I thought, well, I love Sunny D. Big Sunny D fan. Are you a Sunny D fan?
I used to be. I haven't had it in years.
I haven't either, man. And I feel like I pass it in the store and I go, I know that's not good for me, but I really
it's
want
not because I don't like it anymore, but they always put it kind of by the orange juice. And now they teach you that even orange juice is like, that should be like a treat. You should really eat whole fruit. That's much more healthy than drinking the juice of the fruit. Then you just go to the Sunny D and you go like, okay, this is just flavored like juice, but it's really sugar water. It's delicious, though.
Good news, Ben.
Don't throw it, though.
It's only 95 calories, 0 grams of sugar, so this should fit into your diet.
And if we spill it in here,
it's cold too.
Thank you for
chilling.
Let's pop the top on a Sunny D. It's summer vacation.
I don't remember liking Sunny D. I don't know if this is going to make it better or
See, I'm
worse
already
for me.
disappointed because I thought it would be orange. It's not. It's clear. It's seltzer.
Oh, spray it.
It's fantastic.
Made with real juice.
That is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, that's not bad at all.
Oh, my God. Bro, I've never had a seltzer I liked as much as that.
That is not bad at all.
Oh, God. Here we go. I can feel it once it hits your lips.
Vodka with real fruit juice, sparkling water.
What's the ABV on this?
Orange flavor.
4.5%.
Oh, that's not much
light
at all.
beer. You're fine with a couple of sips there, Woods.
This
You're
is fantastic.
not gonna go under the table on this one.
I got another one for you.
That's refreshing. That's really good. I will give it 2 thumbs up, man.
How much real juice does something have to advertise that it's made with real
A
juice?
drop.
Like an eyedropper, like.
Oh,
All right.
God. Paulie's hammered already.
Paulie, come on.
This is why they say.
Don't drink at work.
Whew.
I'm trying to read the nutritional facts.
Abraham says in the chat he drank 5 Cutwaters at Petco. I got to scored it out. That's the last thing I remember. Let's go Padres. Yeah, dude, those things will get you. They will get you. They will get you good.
We had a bunch of those, the White Claws in Palm Springs. It was 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And oh my God.
Knock you on your ass.
2 of them. You're like, oh, I'm done.
We
I'm
used to make trash can punch in high school. And you take a couple of bottles of Everclear, straight grain alcohol, pour it in a trash can, and then you put fruit and
One that you've
fruit
cleaned out
punch.
before, I hope.
Yes, one we've cleaned. It was a new trash can.
Good.
And you pour Everclear and fruit and wine in like Boone's Farm wine, and then you take your cup and you just ice, and then you have like chunks of fruit in there, and you're like, oh man, this tastes so good. And the next thing you know, you're passed out in the forest somewhere. Like it was. And then I do laugh at the seltzer drinkers. I'm like, did you have too many seltzers last night? Drink some trash can punch and then come talk to me. But I mean, this tastes fantastic. I can't knock this even in the slightest.
I wish I was by a pool right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad at all.
I kind of made my own version. One of my poolside cocktails.
Yeah, what'd you have?
Creamsicle. So it was vodka,
Save
orange
that,
juice, triple sec, and vanilla ice cream, all mixed together into a lovely, like milkshake-like alcoholic beverage.
I bet that's amazing.
Very enjoyable.
Johnny says in the chat, I'm convinced the only thing Woodsy never tried in his youth was treason. What a great line that is. I'm trying to think if I ever committed treason. I have not. I have not. That's one thing I did not do. It's treason. Tried a lot of stuff though. A lot of stuff. And this will go. I'm getting some. This is going to go in the house. I rarely drink, but that is refreshing.
Such a nice name too. Sunny
D.
Delight.
Sunny Delight.
Sunny Delight.
Yeah, Sunny Delight. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like summer. I really
remember
enjoy
when
that.
you'd spill it though, and it would be
Sticky.
so sticky,
So sticky.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's so good though. Man, I am a huge fan. That's the best I've ever had. 45 or 95 calories, no grams of sugar. It's actually healthy.
It's healthy.
It's a healthy
All the
orange juice.
calories
Yeah.
are from the alcohol, none from the sugar.
Correct. Delicious. That was great, Paulie. Thanks for
Very
grabbing
summery.
those, man.
Very
God,
summery
that's
and
fantastic.
festive.
Whew.
Scott Cheese
get out of here?
says jungle juice.
Jungle juice. Yeah,
Yeah.
jungle
yeah.
juice
That's
was
kind of a
delicious.
trash can punch
Yep.
version.
We did the purple passion as well. That was like purple grape soda mixed with Everclear. That would get you to anything mixed with Everclear. You want to try to avoid is what I've learned. No sugar in this, babe. My wife's in the chat. It is really, really good. A vodka cocktail, huh? Enjoying it very much. No protein, but still, I mean that's about as good as it gets.
What do you want to
Yeah.
throw a steak in there?
Yeah,
for
weightlift.
you?
Yeah, we'll be able to weightlift and do it. This is really good. Thank you, Paulie.
You are very welcome.
It
Much
can-
obliged.
It's only going to be so healthy for you. You
Excuse
can't-
me.
Yeah, there, all right.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Oh,
Man.
boy.
Take
Just
that
a few sips.
Have that other one?
Yeah, you want it?
Yeah, I'll take the other one.
Woodsy's already going. Are you going down this road this morning? Am I going to have to drive you home at
What's my bit?
the end of the show? You can't do
hours
one.
in here. We're dying on the vine already. We got 2 hours. We're on summer break, buddy.
All right. When's the edible show?
Soon. More than anything I wanted. I think we get in trouble though.
Do we?
Yeah.
What if
We
we
can't
say,
get in
what
trouble
if
for
we-
doing
I think
this.
we could get in trouble for
Yeah,
this.
I think
though.
probably.
what if we say we're eating candy?
Cookies. That one tastes a little stronger. That one I can taste the vodka. All right, let's get weird. All right, you want to continue your Padres talk? Go ahead.
Sure, I'll continue my Padres talk. I did not miss any of the games while I was gone. I watched them as I was kind of, amazed by how well the team played.
Isn't it hard though to go on vacation when this team's playing, and especially in a series that's so big like that? That's a big series.
It was.
It was really big and hard to check out when that happens. The last vacation I took, I think in season, was during the 21 collapse. Remember, I took a week off. Didn't mind missing those games in the slightest. Not one bit of me. But those 3 games, Benny, I would have been like you, trying to watch on my phone every chance I got.
You know, losing on Friday night felt like they were on the precipice of really it being over. 0-8 in extra inning games. You know, another close loss where they had plenty of chances to win. You had Ha-Seong Kim get thrown out at third, kicking the water cooler. It felt like that will be the moment when they write about the season and its ultimate demise, that maybe that's the day you point to where you reach the point of no return, that there was no coming back from that. And yet they come back from it and play 2 of their really better games of the year on Saturday and Sunday to win a series that you felt like they really had to win at that point.
So do you think now, based on what, because we had said going in, you weren't here, but we talked about it. Somebody in the chat had said a couple things. Whoever loses this series, they're going to be sellers, and whoever loses the series, they're not going to make the playoffs. How much does that change for you winning those 2 games? I'll be honest. When we won the 2 games, I went to look at the standings and I was like, oh, still 6 out of the wild card. I don't know what I knew going in, and I went and looked and I went, oh, we're still 6 out of the wild card. We're still 4 games under 500.
I was in the boat of if they win the series, if the Padres win the series, big series. That was a good series win. If they lose the series,
See, I couldn't have come in here, Paulie, yesterday if they lost that series and be like, hey, it's no big. I would have felt the panic, I think, a little bit.
Well, I think the discouraging part, there's still 6 games out, and that's significant with 72 games remaining in the season. They essentially would have to have another probably 3 more 5-1 weeks, like they had.
I think winning this first series out of the break, taking 3 out of 4 versus losing 3 out of 4 is huge.
Well, yeah, it's because there are 5 teams ahead of you, and you have to pass 3 of those teams to get into a spot. And the Philadelphia Phillies are one of those 5 teams ahead of you. So if you lose 3 out of 4, you'll essentially be, 8-9 games behind the Phillies at that point, and you'll only have 68 games left in the season. Now that might be too much to overcome, at least against the Phillies. So 6 games is still significant. However, don't just look at the team that's you're 6 games behind. Right now, the Giants have that last spot, and you're 6 games behind them.
I love when you do math like this. I love it. I do. I'm enjoying this.
So the Marlins and the Diamondbacks have kind of come back to earth. In fact, the Dodgers are in first place now, and the Diamondbacks are one of those wild card teams. They are all teams the Padres could catch. The Padres are only 9 games out of the wild card lead at this point because the Marlins are just 3 games up on the Giants. So you actually have more there's a better chance that a couple of those teams ahead of you just don't play as well in the second half as they did in the first half. In fact, it's likely that a couple of those teams regress a little bit, whether it's the Marlins or the Diamondbacks or the Giants or the Brewers or the Reds. A couple of those teams may not have things go their way like they did in the first half of the season. So,
but you're counting on a lot of what ifs, right? You're counting on.
No, that's not a what if. The more teams that are ahead of you, the more you can just assume, well, not every one of those 5 teams is going to have an amazing second half. Now, if it's one team, then you're counting on a lot of what ifs. Well,
that's true.
Hey, if we win this many games, so you don't know how the Marlins are going to do. But when there's 5 teams, you can be pretty assured that 1 or 2 of them probably are going to play 500 ball. They're not going to be spectacular in the second half, which means if you play well, you should be able to catch a couple of those teams going forward.
That's the key word you said is if you play well. And I don't know that I would categorize what the San Diego Padres did in the first half as playing well.
No.
It has not been atrocious. They have not played themselves out of anything. They have given us many, many glimmers of hope. And I think there's still a lot to look at. And knowing full well, trade deadline is a couple of weeks away. There's no way they don't upgrade this roster. There's just no way at this point. And I don't think it's dependent on how they do in Philly. I think that an upgrade is imminent for this team. At some point, I would imagine somebody in the back end of that bullpen and another bat from somewhere.
Well, I mean, if they go 2-8 on the road trip coming out of the All-Star break, there's no reason to upgrade the roster. If they're 10 games under 500,
doesn't it depend on what the other teams do a little bit?
At that point, probably not. If you're 10 games under 500, and there's only 62 games left in the season.
What do we got? We got Phillies and then
Philly, Blue Jays, Tigers.
Some tough teams, man, except for the Tigers.
And
we've played terribly against poor teams. We played down. We played down a lot.
So
and we play up a lot.
I do think that, and it'll end before the trade deadline. So they'll be back home before the trade deadline hits.
Yeah, end of the month.
If they have a really bad road trip, then the season's probably over. Now, if they go 5-5, 6-4, I agree with you. They're probably still looking to buy before the trade deadline and add, whether it's bullpen help, starting pitching help, a corner outfielder with a bat, all of the above. I think the Padres will be in the market for that. But if they come out and they lay an egg on an East Coast road trip, and good teams sometimes lay eggs on cross-country road trips, then there's probably no reason to go out and spend and acquire players, rentals, at a deadline with so little chance to really make up enough ground to get you into the playoff picture.
Conversely, if you're not adding, you're subtracting at that point. So that's the other issue that it kind of hangs in the balance. Let's go to break right now. I'm hammered. So let's go to break, and we'll come back and we'll do some more Padres talk. Would love to hear from the tier ones out there. 833-288-0973. Call in. It's kind of open, man. Whatever you guys want to talk about. But Padres is really the choice du jour right now.
More Ben and Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Ben Woods back with you, 8:24. It's Tuesday morning. It's summer break here
Feeling
on
loose
97.3
right
The Fan.
now.
Ben Woods
Feel
is
great.
3 Sunny D
Two.
seltzers, 2 Sunny D seltzers in
Feels
this morning.
good, man.
Just picked up our boss.
I did. Picked him up. Gave him a big hug. Kissed him on the head.
HR is not going to be happy.
I love
with you.
him, though. I do love him.
What if you threw out his back or something?
I give him a lot of grief. He's a great boss.
Oh, he's the best.
He's the best
He's
boss.
a really good boss.
He's annoying as balls, but he is the best boss. Mostly because he lets us do this.
Yes, he does not interfere.
He really doesn't interfere.
With whatever you want to do. Whatever crazy idea
We.
Woods has is fine.
We.
No, all the crazy ideas are yours. They're also the good ones, but they're the crazy ones.
He really does. And I love that. You can't put a price on that. He says, I trust you. Trust you to do the right thing for your audience. And I said, I really appreciate that. We try to do that.
We do.
Yeah.
It usually involves a lot of Padres talk.
Yep.
And at least small amount of woodsy nonsense in
Correct.
the morning.
Correct.
That's pretty much our formula if you're going to listen to us for 4 hours.
Yeah. Matthew says, Woodsy, you have 2 more. I wish I did. I wish I could. We're out.
I only bought a 4-pack.
I only bought a 4-pack, which is a good thing, Paul, because I got to get home somehow. So
Would've been
luckily
bad.
we got an hour and a half. But I got to tell you, 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up for the Sunny D seltzer. Best I've ever had.
Got
And
some-
it's not close.
Got some callers on the line, 833-288-0973. I know they want to talk Padres. To me, one of the unknowns going into the second half, and really will be very critical in determining whether the Padres can get back into the wild card race, is Michael Wacha. Will he be available? Will he be anything like the Michael Wacha we saw in the first half? If the Padres get the pitching that we saw from Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, and Michael Wacha in the first half, and anything resembling Yu Darvish in the second half,
Yeah.
they're going to go almost every single day. And Seth Lugo was pretty good too.
Pretty good, man.
They're going to go into every single game, and you're going to feel like they
Chance
have a
to win.
really good chance to win almost every single night. Now, if Michael Wacha is unavailable or isn't pitching the way he was pitching, if Yu Darvish, can't get back to being Yu Darvish, all of a sudden now you've got 3 good starters or 3 decent starters and a lot of unknowns and a lot of bullpen days, and it's very hard to make up ground if you're also trying to figure out who's starting every 4th or 5th day in your rotation. So to me, the baseline of any Padres comeback starts with those guys
Agreed.
and having a healthy, solid second half of the season.
Can I tell you that you look very handsome and that I love you?
Thank you.
Okay. Paulie, you look very handsome too. Fresh haircut. Love you too.
Thank you very much.
All right. Is anybody going to tell me they love me or no?
We
Or I
all
just
love you.
drank
I love you.
myself to a still over here.
I love you so much. You can have the last half of my Sunny D
Not a good
vodka
idea.
seltzer there if you
Not a
want to.
good
Let's go out to the
idea.
phones. We got Scott joining us here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, how we doing, fellas?
Scott, how we
Appreciate you
doing,
taking
buddy?
My call.
Our pleasure, man.
Yeah, thank you. Just wanted to give you a call and just honestly, I'm a lifelong San Diegan, born and raised, and I really truly believe it. I truly believe in this team. I think the second half is going to be way different, and I think that if we do the right things, the little things, the right
Yes.
way, like we know we have been doing the last, say, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. Really the last, obviously the 6 games before the All-Star break, I think we're going to really turn it around. I think they definitely need to be buyers, starting pitching just to get another starting pitcher. I think, going to 6-man rotation in the second half, I think that'd be a smart thing. I think you get another piece or 2 in the bullpen to help, not where we're relying on guys every day, like a Nick Martinez
Yep.
or even a Stephen Wilson.
Timmy Hill,
I know
yep.
those guys will be back. But I believe that I have faith, and I've seen it all. I've seen the ups and the downs since in the 90s and the early 2000s. I've been there, and I'm a true Potter fan. But I just appreciate you guys taking my call. And also, I run a college summer team here in San Diego. It's one of the finest teams we got here, and we have a game today at 5 o'clock at Carlsbad and 4 o'clock on Thursday against one of our rivals. So
Get out
I'd
there.
love for all the fans to come out and support us. So
Good luck
I
to you.
appreciate
Yep.
guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Get
Good
out
luck to
there.
your team.
Get out there and kick some ass.
I'm going to say I agree and disagree with Scott.
I was going to say I disagree with them and agree with them as well.
Really?
Some of the little things are what's been murdering this team all year. Xander Bogaerts the other night drawing a terrible series for Xander, draws a walk, gets picked off. Now we won that game, right? But Ha-Seong Kim taking that extra bag in front of a guy he knows, plays right in front of him, he cost us the game. Ha-Seong Kim has given us more wins than he's taken. Ha-Seong Kim gets a pass from me. Plus his contrition after the game broke my heart. I wanted to cry for that man. I love that man. That being said, cleaning up those little things is something that this team has to do.
To me, that's something that doesn't happen. If the Padres are comfortably
you're right.
10 games above 500, Ha-Seong Kim doesn't even try that.
He doesn't even try.
He does that because they feel so much pressure to come back and win games.
Make a play.
It actually causes them to make more mistakes.
Ben, you've seen it. We talked about it yesterday when you were out. You've seen it 1,000 times. Tatis trying to do too much. Soto trying to throw through when you're not going to get Andrew McCutchen. Guys getting picked off early in the season. Guys not covering backs. Those little things, like all the excuses are done. Let's go over the built-in excuses we had. Oh, the WBC. That's done. If you haven't caught up for the WBC right now, you shouldn't be playing baseball anymore. You're done. WBC excuses are over. The new rules, over. Everyone's had time to adjust. No more, I'm really bummed about the pitch clock or the batter's clock. That's it. It's done. Excuses are done. Clean up the little things, clean up the messes, and this team can win a buttload of games. A buttload. They could win 50 games in the second half. They're that good. They have it in them. Jake Cronenworth, my man, you have a monster second half of the season. You have an average second half of the season. This team's going to go far. There's a lot of guys in there that need to get the job done, and they know that.
The other part where I'd say I both agree and disagree with Scott, I do think adding another starting pitcher could be critical because you can't count on all 5 of those guys to be available every start the last 2.5 months of the season. So you're probably going to need that depth, but I would not go to a 6-man rotation. You need Blake Snell and Joe Musgrove to be making as many starts as possible down the stretch. And I know that that's going to tax them a little bit, especially a guy like Snell, who's a free agent to be. No offense, but you drive that guy into the ground as well as he's pitching right now. And yeah, you would like to save some bullets for the playoffs if you make it. You need to get there first. And Blake Snell is not under contract after this season. He's pitching better than pretty much anybody on the planet right now. You can't go 6 days between Blake Snell starts. 6-man rotation and a day off. Yeah, we'll see you in a week, Blake. That'll give you, 5, 6 more starts the rest of the year? You need Blake on the mound 9 or 10 more times before the season is over and to use the best pitcher on the planet. So no on the 6-man rotation. Yes on the starting pitching depth, though, because you know that Michael Wacha or Darvish or someone's going to miss a start here or there, and you can't necessarily rely on an Adrian Morejon bullpen type day in a game that you absolutely have to win.
As much as Eno Saris loves Adrian Morejon, I'd love to see it from Adrian. Let's come back with a couple of targets. I got one that somebody brought up the other day on Twitter, and my immediate reaction was to laugh. And then I went back and looked at his numbers, and then I went back and thought, wow, you could probably get him for nothing.
I like it.
Yep.
More calls as well, 833-288-0973. If you're there, stay there. We will get to the phone calls as well. Coming up with more Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed at 97.3 The Fan, like all of us drinking Sunny D vodka seltzers earlier this hour.
Absolutely delicious.
Click listen on demand, you miss a guest, feature, whatever. We got you covered. Download the free Odyssey app, search 97.3 The Fan, and tap earlier today to get started. Our phone lines are open, 833-288-0973. Woodsy's about to lay on us a surprise trade target that he thinks that the Padres might want to take a look at if they are adding pieces before the trade deadline. I am intrigued. We will get to that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto Family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad. Still a few problems out here, guys. One of them is this crash on the westbound side of the 8, just past the 163. A couple vehicles involved. They're in the center divide, but looks like fire crews got that fast lane blocked. Also traveling on northbound 15, just past Friars Road, we have reports of a stalled vehicle. Looks like that is in middle lanes. You're going to find on the northbound 5 coastline just before Basilone. Crash involving a couple vehicles. They're over the right shoulder, and looks like you've still got right lanes blocked. Northbound 5 to Christianitos as they investigate that early morning fatal accident involving a pedestrian. Brought to you by Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad with brand new 2023 Cadillac XT4s and XT5s in stock now. Stop in or shop online at CadillacCarlsbad.com. A proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Benjamin, with the rotation that you just laid out, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, you feel like Yu Darvish is going to get it back at some point. I know he was just coming off of an illness, 2 weeks. He was out, pitched okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad at all. You feel like he's going to get it locked in. And what better time than the second half for him to do that? You love what you've seen from Lugo, but Lugo's not a guy that's going to go 150 innings. He's just not. So at some point, you are going to have to figure out where to get those innings from. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a jerk here. They're not coming from Ryan Weathers. They're not coming from Morihone. They're not coming from Drew Carlton. They're just not. They're not. Let's be big boys and admit that they're not coming there. So I think what you need to do is you need to find a guy that can eat some innings. Now, I was looking at somebody tweeted the other day, and I summarily dismissed it. I went, idiot. And then I thought about it, and I went, okay. Don't know how much it'll take to go get Patrick Corbin and another arm from the Nationals bullpen. They're not going anywhere. We know that. As Xander Bogaerts said, they're not in a playoff hunt. What if you could go get Patrick Corbin and a Finnegan from their bullpen? Brandon Finnegan, I believe is his name. Is it Kyle Finnegan?
Kyle Finnegan?
I'm just making stuff up. I'm hammered. So at this point, just making up names. What would a Patrick Corbin do for you? Now, his contract's very pricey. I mean, and they would, I'm sure, like to get out from under it, Ben. So he's making like 20, just 6-year, $140 million deal. He's making, I think, 23 a year. You're not going to eat that. You're not going to. If you're the Nationals, you don't eat it. And if you're Peter Seidler, you don't necessarily pick it up. But I was looking at his numbers, and there's one thing you can say about Patrick Corbin. The guy's going to give you 6 every single time he grabs the ball, at least 6. Pitched pretty well against the San Diego Padres until he didn't. But he is a guy that you can count on every 5th day. So last start,
he'll give you 90 to 100 pitches
every time.
So and throw. He'll wear it. He'll eat it. He'll be out there.
So my man's last start against the Texas Rangers, one of the better offensive teams, went 7, gave up 5 hits. Now against the Reds, who are one of the hottest teams in baseball, went 5, gave up 10 hits, 6 earned runs. Against the Mariners, 7 innings, no runs, 5 hits. Against the Padres, 7 hits, 7 runs. Against the Marlins, 6 innings, then 5 innings against the Astros, 2 runs. The Diamondbacks gave up 3. Then he gave up 4 against the Dodgers. Gave 6 against the Royals and 2 against the Tigers. He's and no outing has been below 5 innings. So in a guy that can go out there and is going to wear it. And there are those games. They're not punt games, and we can't afford to punt many games in the second half of the season. But to have a guy that can go out and give you 5, 6, 7 innings almost every time, and to let your offense do their thing, Ben, I don't know. That seems pretty valuable to me. And you grab one of the guys from their bullpen. They got a couple of hard throwers down there as well. Could really help this squad. Now, again, I don't know what's going to cost you money-wise or prospect-wise. I can't imagine it'd be very much.
Well, he's got 1 year after this at $25 million next year.
A lot of dough for that guy.
Plus whatever's left on this year is probably another 10 plus. So you're looking at $35 million. Now, the Nationals might be willing to eat a big chunk of that because whatever they save, and he's not doing much for them. And you probably won't have to give up much in the way of prospects, especially if you're eating some contract, which makes that a very doable deal. Here's the problem. For Peter Seidler, who's already over the luxury tax, you're not only paying Patrick Corbin, you're now paying
more tax.
Luxury tax on Patrick Corbin. And it's one thing to pay luxury tax on Manny Machado or Juan Soto,
you don't want to pay it on
or
Corbin.
Xander Bogaerts, but you really don't like to go double dipping for a guy like Patrick Corbin, who is just eating innings for you because you needed some depth as a sixth starter in a season that you're not even necessarily guaranteed to go to the playoffs. Now, I think it would make perfect sense if the Padres were 6 games up in the wild card race right now, and you needed to make sure your starters were all healthy and ready to go in the playoffs, and you needed an innings eater every few days that could actually spare your guys.
Good piece.
I think that would be a great piece. When you need to catch up and you need your top guys on the mound as much as possible, I'm not sure if it makes as much sense for the Padres.
No, I mean, and I'm looking at ideas here, and like I said, somebody tweeted me the other day. I literally laughed at it, and then I went back and I looked at his numbers, and I went, "We've got worse. You know, what are our other options now? How many frontline starters are going to be available at the deadline, and what are you willing to give up for them? That's the problem too. Sure, a Corbin Burns may be put on the market, which would be stupid by the Milwaukee Brewers because they're in it, and they can't do that to those guys again. They did it to them last year with Josh Hader in it. You get rid of Corbin Burns right now, I mean, that's a nightmare scenario for the Milwaukee Brewers. So I don't know. What I do know is you're going to have to wear it a little bit. And if you could get, what if you could get Hunter Harvey and Patrick Corbin, and you give Corbin the ball every fifth day, and Hunter Harvey's in the back end of your bullpen, you're feeling a little better about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm drunk, so don't
the
pay
Nationals.
attention to me.
Well, the Nationals are one of the few teams that
hammered right now.
But they're one of the few teams are selling.
Yeah, they're selling.
You can't guarantee that with almost anybody else out there. There's like 3 or 4 teams that are definite sellers.
Yeah, who do you want from the A's?
The rest of baseball is still in a wait and see mode. How they're going to play coming out of the All-Star break before you even know who you can target. So at least it's a realistic. And it shows you how little is out there that Patrick Corbin is actually someone you might talk about picking up at the deadline.
I don't expect him to be a Washington National at the deadline, so I don't know who's going to go out and get him. And there are teams that are in desperate need of starting pitching, teams that are very much in the race. It's weird.
I mean, the Dodgers probably need him as much as anyone right now.
100%. And if you have faith that he's going to go out and give you 6 innings every single time, and you've got Niebla in there to work with him, and he's got a good offense behind him, he's got a good defense behind him. I mean, his ERA is 4.89. It's not out of this world. You know, that's a respectable, I guess, ERA for a guy on a really, really bad team. Goes out, takes the ball.
You know, with the Padres defense, some of those hits that he has been giving up, and he gets up a lot of hits, could turn into outs. You got Ha-Seong Kim behind you and Manny Machado behind you and Trent Grisham and Fernando Tatis Jr. in the outfield. Not quite as many balls fall in or get through as they probably are against the Washington Nationals. So you might see an improvement there if he came over. I mean, it's food for discussion during summer break here.
Yeah.
As we're thinking about what the Padres might do. Let's go.
Well, real quick, JPJ says you can't get Corbin. Padres way over the luxury tax, as we just mentioned. You'd be paying 150% of his contract, and Nats wouldn't cover that. No, but they would cover some of it. They would cover some of it. The luxury tax is the luxury tax. You're not, unless you're a seller, you're not even going to sniff getting below the luxury tax. So are we buyers or are we sellers?
If you're buyers, you're paying on whoever you pick up. You're paying more luxury tax on them.
It doesn't blow my hair back by any stretch of the imagination, and nor do I think he's the missing piece. But another guy from the back end of their bullpen could really, really help.
Let's go out to the phones. 833-288-0973. We got Kevin on the line. Kevin, good morning. Welcome to 97.3 The Fan.
Hey guys.
Hey,
yeah, I was just thinking about that. You know, you brought that up on the luxury tax. What get the other team to compensate you for the luxury tax, whatever that figure is.
Do that.
Makes that part of the compensation package. So that way you're not truly eating. I mean, you're not burning it. You're being compensated for it. That's a way of getting there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if there would obviously be money coming back to the Padres in a deal like that for Patrick Corbin. Whatever it goes toward, the Padres can say, okay, well, you're going to send us $5 million along with Patrick Corbin. We'll pay the other $5 million, whether it goes toward the luxury tax or his salary. That's just money, and you want to get as much as possible.
What is he at right now, Peter Seidler?
What is he at over the luxury tax?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're
30. They're
20 or 30 million
30.
over. I think we'll be paying an extra $20 million or so in luxury tax already this year. If they ended where they started, they could go higher than that. I mean, the Mets are paying like hundreds of millions of dollars, so they're not there, but it's not a nothing amount. Peter Seidler has never shown publicly, at least, any, pressing concern about it.
Never said, "Oh, I don't want to pay that." I just saw an article in the New York Post about the Chicago White Sox. They're pretty much open for business right now for deals for all but 4 cornerstone players. Dylan Cease, they don't want to move. Andrew Vaughn, they don't want to move. Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert Jr., they do not want to move. But that means Lucas Giolito, Reynaldo Lopez, and Kenyon Middleton most likely to go in a trade. Giolito will get interest from the Reds, Rangers, and others. He is a LA kid, hometown guy. Luis Giolito to the Dodgers makes a lot of sense. So yeah, they're going to be moving pieces as well.
That's an interesting case because they're a team that expected to be contenders and be playoff. This was their push as well.
So they asked Royals captain Salvi Perez if he would waive his no trade clause, his veto clause, and he said, "I love Kansas City. They gave me an opportunity, but the Padres, Astros, and Marlins have all been mentioned as potential suitors for Salvi Perez, which would be pretty solid.
Huge upgrade
That would be a big
for the
upgrade,
Padres."
yeah.
We talked about it before the break, where yes, Gary Sanchez gave him an injection of life when they really needed it, but now his production is pretty much Austin Nola,
A little
level
better against the Mets. A little better
with a threat of power. But yeah, he had a couple doubles.
Yep.
He did swing it better against the Mets this weekend for sure. Let's go out to Mike. You're next up with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, boys. Woodsy, I got a little music question for you.
Shoot.
Are you familiar with ABBA?
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Are you familiar with the song Fernando?
I am not familiar with
ABBA's Fernando. You don't know that
don't know
song?
that one?
No.
There is a
Really?
song,
Do I?
Fernando. You can
You got-
imagine
you-
the Sea of San
You guys
Diegans.
do?
Yeah.
Imagine
Oh,
the
yeah.
Sea of San Diegans with their arms wrapped around each other in the 7th inning singing Fernando
All in.
when Tatis walks out.
Okay, I'm on
second
board. I know
thing-
people. I'll send a drunken text today to Eric Grupner to make that happen.
I'm
Let me hear it. I probably
Mike,
know
let's
it.
go. Yeah, you
Off the top
might.
of my head.
I'd be
I'm pulling
very
it up.
surprised if. I mean, I would say in the canon of ABBA.
Why
it's
haven't we
one of their,
done it
like,
yet?
Top 10 songs.
Why
at
haven't
some
we
point.
done it yet?
Why don't they play it at the games? I'm not sure.
It's not moving me yet. I need a bigger
Wait till it
chorus.
gets going. Let's skip ahead.
Oh, yes. Fantastic. Love this song. I didn't know it was called
Fernando.
Yeah, we need that. That needs to happen.
You've heard this one.
Group Dog, it's your old pal Woods. I know you're listening. You get a lot of ideas from this show. Petco Pork.
Now, walk-up music is fairly sacrosanct. The player chooses that.
Doesn't matter. Instead of the 7th inning stretch, you play that.
Instead of it.
Yeah.
You mean you eliminate Take Me Out to the Ball Game
Yeah.
entirely
For Fernando.
for one player?
Yes.
I think you'd give him a different time of the game.
Okay.
Maybe
Whatever
like
you want to do.
Middle of the
It's
8th inning.
It's your fun
or
day. Whatever
middle
you
of
want to
the-
do.
Middle of the 6th
Sure.
or something.
Yeah.
Or you wait until after he just made a great play in the field and then they're coming back into the dugout.
By the way, if you're going to Petco Park and you're singing the 7th inning stretch and you don't sing, "It's a shame if they lose," you're doing it the wrong way.
It's a shame if they lose.
I do it every time now. Every time I'm at
The
a
actual lyric is if they don't win,
game, it's a shame.
it's a shame.
But my
this
guy at Vaughn's,
didn't know
They
exactly.
don't win.
it's a shame. It sounds better.
It's a shame if they lose.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
It's better. He made it better. He took something that was good
He took something that's been
and
around
made it
for what,
great.
100 years?
Yeah, made it great. He forgot the words and he made it better.
Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
The old ball game.
And let's go drink some booze.
Let's go
because
drink
it's
some
got to
booze.
rhyme with lose
Yeah, it's
instead
true.
of shame. Game and shame rhyme.
I'm starting to get hungover.
Are you already? You move quickly.
Another drink.
You move very fast through the process
hair
of
of the dog.
your morning drinking. So, all guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Still have 1 hour to go here on Ben and Woods. Paulie, you got a Reindl report for us?
Somebody says they're already doing this at the
Fernando?
games. Yeah, they've been doing that. I haven't seen it.
I haven't heard it.
I don't
Bernadette said they've
remember.
100% been doing this already at games for Fernando. I've not heard it. I don't. Yeah, I didn't know the name of that song, but I know that song. Interesting.
It's definitely one of ABBA's, be on their best.
I know they
of.
do like late in the games if Tatis is coming up, like bottom of the 8th inning, pretty tight ball game. They
Play
make a
that?
pitching change. No, they'll play the I don't remember what it's called. It's a TikTok thing with the silhouette. It's like it starts with "Put your head on my shoulder,"
Oh.
and then the beat drops.
Tony says they played it in the
and
beginning.
Toddy's doing like a silhouette.
Okay.
sexy
Yeah,
dance.
I missed that. Missed that detail. So apparently they're already doing it, but
All right, you got any teases for us, Paulie, on your Reindl report?
I got an MLB draft story, and we will talk about the rise of Threads.
Threads, the new alternative to Twitter that I haven't
kind of
quite
bored with it.
haven't quite got into
We
yet.
haven't
but-
really discussed it since it started.
All
I'm
right, we'll get to
curious.
that coming up next with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
going on right now?
All right, we're on camera, right? Well, we're on many cameras because we always are. But even Adam has a camera on us this morning. It's Ben and Woods, 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Here on 97.3 The Fan. It's Ben and Woods summer break. That's why Woodsy's in his Padres Hawaiian shirt. I've got my floppy hat and sunglasses on, and Paul's in his What About Bob? Great movie, great shirt.
Don't hassle me. I'm local.
Yeah, I'm on vacation.
That's one of my family's favorite movies. of all
Dropping
time.
by.
I'm a sailor. I sail. I'm sailing. I sail.
Brilliant film.
I need to watch that movie again.
Okay. Bless you.
Sorry, just a couple of sneezes.
Okay. All good.
Yeah, I'm good now. Just had a little Sunny D up my nose or something right there. Paulie brought in the Sunny D seltzers just to add to the vibe that we're going for here.
What are we drinking
summer
tomorrow?
Break. This is all week long, summer break until the Padres are back on Friday.
We'll get serious on Friday. And by get serious, I mean take the day off.
I'm serious. What are we drinking tomorrow?
Well, Friday's the hardest day of all because while the Padres will be back, they will also have been gone the longest. We'll have a game to look forward to, but we'll have a week of nothing to have talked about in terms of changing with the Padres. Nothing changes between Sunday and Friday afternoon in Philadelphia.
Not a damn thing.
I doubt that there's going to be any trades made between now and then.
Roster moves, maybe.
We have draft picks. We talked about some of the Padres picks earlier, and Paulie's going to have a little more draft news coming up in the Roundel Report. But essentially, we're in a holding pattern for the Padres season until Friday afternoon.
Agreed.
And then we'll come back next Monday. We'll have 4 games to talk about from Philadelphia and a really big sense of, whether the Padres are going to be movers or shakers or not. If they come out and, rip roaring, start the second half with a bang in Philadelphia and make up some ground on one of the teams ahead of them, then we're fully in. It's buyers. It's, all engines, full steam forward on this Padres season. If
Nothing's won this weekend, but man, 5.5 back of one of the few teams ahead of you. You got 4 games. Like, you can make some serious ground.
Big chance to make up ground. Conversely, they go in, they get swept. They lose 3 out of 4. You've put yourself in a bad position. You once again have to start talking about selling again next Monday morning. But we won't know until, the weekend is done in Philadelphia.
They're going to win 3. We're buyers. They're going to lose 2 or 3. We're sellers.
Well, they'll probably go 2-2, and we'll still be here kind of in limbo going, they didn't lose any ground. They didn't make up any ground.
Yeah, Darvish gets the ball Friday against Sanchez, who is 0-2 with a 2.84 ERA. Saturday doubleheader. Snell gets the first one against Taijuan Walker. And then game 2 is Seth Lugo against Zach Wheeler. That's going to be a tough matchup.
I think I saw that they're saving Lugo for Sunday, and they're still unsure of what they're going to do in game 2 of the doubleheader.
Really?
Yeah.
They're giving Joe a couple of
Joe's got to
extra
get
days.
one.
Yeah, Waka won't.
Tuesday.
Waka can't come off the injured list until that following Monday, so he can't pitch until the next series against the Blue Jays.
We get Sanchez, Walker, Suarez, and then Wheeler. No Nola. We'll miss Nola.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you can make any changes you want during the All-Star break.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd say everything is very tentative until you come back and Rob Thompson actually says, all right, here's the real lineup for our pitchers coming out of the All-Star break, depending on how everybody feels, how much rest you want to get. This is an important series for the Phillies as well, obviously.
Yeah.
They're half a game out of a playoff spot. So we'll see what happens when they come back. But right now, everyone's just getting their R&R in and trying to get recharged for the second half of the season. We'll recharge here for a second while Paulie does the heavy lifting with the Roundel Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Roundel Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Paulie.
So we've been talking about the MLB draft this week. Made some comments about the Padres picks. But we didn't get to the Baltimore Orioles pick Enrique Bradfield Jr. Baltimore Orioles.
I haven't heard about this one.
So Enrique Bradfield Jr. He got drafted on Monday, I believe. And no, sorry, this was in the first round, number 17 overall. He was so excited that he was selected by the Orioles. He couldn't wait for them, the team or the GM or anybody to call him.
Okay.
He actually had his agent get the GM of the Orioles' number, and he made the first call.
It's an odd way to do it.
And it was the Orioles tweeted out elite speed on the bases and on the phone.
That's a first. Hey, you beat me to the punch.
So GM.
Enrique. Very good. How are you? You down there in Florida?
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. Well, congratulations. We're really excited about the pick. I don't know if you've seen Camden Yards lately, but we got a really big outfield that we're going to need your help to cover. So get to work, okay? All right, man. That's great to hear. Well, enjoy the rest of the night and have fun with your family, okay?
Took the initiative.
Yeah, don't call me again.
Reached out, made the first phone call to the
I'll call you,
Orioles.
bud.
GM.
I'm just calling to say that you just picked me in the Major League Baseball draft.
I'm ready to go. What do I do? What do I do?
Where do you need me and when? They're stacked, by the way. The Orioles, they're stacked. Their system is low, and they've called up a ton of their guys: Adley Rushman, Gunnar Henderson, guys like that. They're stacked.
They could be really
They
good in a few
could be
years.
very, very
This,
nasty in a couple.
Bradfield Jr. is an outfielder, and they said 80 speed. I mean, probably the fastest and best defender in the draft, at least in college baseball. So another good move.
We just said that
For
about the
Baltimore.
White Sox a couple of years ago. Though.
Yeah, we did.
The stacked
Loaded.
system. They're all coming up. They look like young superstars. And now here they are in sell-off mode. As you just said, all but 4 players are up for bids. They're going to sell at the trade deadline. Second straight disappointing season.
Yep.
Is there any guarantee that the Orioles are going to actually be good in a couple of years?
No, they're going to have to spend some money. Obviously, they're going to have to spend some money. They're going to have to get some front of the rotation guys. But I mean, that's right now. They're young, they're cheap, they're controllable, and again, all these guys can come up together. They've done a really nice job drafting and developing players. Really nice. Adley's a superstar.
It feels like baseball is becoming more unpredictable, though.
Very much.
Guys
so.
are coming up better than you ever thought they could be. Freddie Freeman was talking about it in that piece about the Padres. He was going, "Yeah, I mean, you got these guys who are good right away. I couldn't have done that.
Yeah,
I couldn't have
was
been good.
terrible when I came.
I needed time, and now these guys are fantastic the second they get to the big leagues. But then, they go into a sophomore slump, and they're not good the next 3 years, and they can't adjust. It seems like baseball is getting less and less predictable as we go forward.
Very much so. Very much so. I mean, some of the preseason predictions we made, embarrassing, but not outside the norm of a lot of the predictions that we saw. The 6 teams that made the playoffs in the NL last year, I would have bet my house that the 6 teams that made the playoffs last year would make it again this year. None of them got worse. They all got better.
Let's hope that continues to be the case, because I did see that at the All-Star break last year in both leagues, 5 of the 6 teams that were in playoff position made the playoffs. There was only 1 team in each league that played their way in the second half. Padres are definitely hoping that at least 1 or 2 teams can play their way in from outside of playoff position in the second half, but it's not easy. You don't see it that often.
I know you're not high on the Marlins, but they have arms. They've got the arms to do it. And they've shown enough offense.
And they just got Anibal Sanchez back as well.
I think so. Yeah. So they're poised for a decent second half. But yeah, I mean they're young. They don't know what they don't know, and their pitchers are spectacular. And of course, got a great skipper.
Damn right. Gentlemen, we got the All-Star game tonight, and then tomorrow is like the slowest day, I think, in the entire calendar in the sports world.
Yeah, probably should save those cocktails for tomorrow.
Probably should have. We'll have to get some more. I don't know how many more Ryan reports we're going to be doing the rest of this week because it's getting slim pickings.
This is when we need the Rondo report the most.
Fair enough. Maybe we'll just do 3 wacky stories.
Do 3
But
wacky stories.
for today, we do have a bit of a sports. So we talked about the LA Times earlier and the Tribune news group or whatever.
Yes.
Their sale of the San Diego Union Tribune, and kind of kicked around what that could mean. It wasn't the only newspaper to make waves yesterday. I saw that the New York Times also disbanded their entire sports department. The New York Times will no longer have a sports department.
So they acquired The Athletic for a lot of dough. And I think that's what they're going to, from the reports I read, they're going to lean on their friends at The Athletic, their acquisition to provide the sports.
They're going to reassign or let go about 35 writers and editors in the New York Times department. And I thought about our buddy Tyler Kepner, who we love. And he did post yesterday on a dizzying, maddening, confusing, sad day for NYT sports reporters and editors. I've been overwhelmed by the love and support so many have shown me here. Thank you all. And on a programming note, the NYT says we will still have sports coverage until some point in September.
Does he have a gig, Tyler?
It's kind of sounding like it, unless he gets reassigned and he's doing
works for the Athletic,
politics or something, or he gets a job with the Athletic. I don't know. But
because the New York Times owns the Athletic,
right? Yeah, they bought him.
I certainly understand why this is monumental, especially for newspaper lovers and people who work for the New York Times.
But the Athletic also cut out a lot of their writers.
They did. They lost a lot of writers, but the Athletic does excellent work. Excellent coverage. I mean, it's not like that the sports journalism is going away, and the New York Times is still heavily invested into that sports journalism outlet of the Athletic. So I don't know exactly how I feel about that. From a business perspective, that sounds like it makes sense. All right, we just paid $550 million to buy this company that is filled with great sports journalists, and we're also paying an entire staff on this other side of sports journalists. Do we need to do that? And I totally get that I'm in the sports media business and I want as many sports media people to be paid as possible. But also from a business standpoint, it's like the Athletic does really, really good coverage.
Yeah, the writing should have kind of been on the wall when they acquired the Athletic, I would imagine. So, and I'm sure it was for many. That's a bummer, though. Hate to see people lose their gigs.
Agreed. All right, and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Threads. I saw Threads, the new Twitter killer from Meta, Instagram, and Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. It's already reached over 100 million users.
Okay.
Curious what your guys' thoughts are after about a week of use.
I don't love it so far.
I think it's got a lot of, I don't even want to say potential. I think it could be totally fine, but there's a few things that need to change.
It doesn't hook me like Twitter did, and Twitter took me a while. I don't find myself 14 hours on Threads.
And maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. I check it a couple times a day.
Open up your Threads app and let's just read what your top thread.
So I'm seeing a lot of this. I'm seeing a lot of motivational stuff, and I don't. It's not from anybody that I've followed, so that which is weird. But I'm seeing a lot of the.
Mine's been much, much better about giving me now in my feed people that I actually followed. At the beginning, I didn't follow anybody, so instead of an empty feed, I was getting like really random influencer.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of randoms too.
I mean, these are all people I follow. There's Adam doing his behind the scenes with Ben and Woods, John Boy, beloved Corey Stewart, Elon Musk, kind of in the chamber right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
He's threatening to sue Meta because he is saying it's a direct copy of Twitter. He's quoted as saying competition is fine, cheating is not. And he has also decided to take the high road, and pretty much any tweet that mentions Mark Zuckerberg, you'll find a tweet from Elon Musk's official account saying Zuck is a cuck.
All right.
Got a thread from Snellzilla 4 that says it is what it is with a shrug emoji.
Yeah, that was in regards to being snubbed for the All-Star game. It is what it is. Taking it well is Blake Snell.
So they automatically follow whoever you're following on Instagram. So I guess
that's an option.
I think I chose that option. So I'm getting some people like, I didn't realize I was following this person on Instagram.
I didn't do that.
I also think if someone that you follow replies to something, all of a sudden it's in your timeline. So when I get all these threads like Yemi Aduwunmi, but first coffee. But if I go way down there, I see someone that I followed reply to that thread.
Oh.
And then, now it's in my feed as well. But right now you got to fill up the feeds with something.
I'm getting like quotes. It's okay to be confused. Confusion is the route to all clarity in the world. It's fantastic. I didn't sign up for that though.
I've noticed a lot less bots I think the user experience has been better.
Paulie, to attain peace of mind, simply sit quietly and let the world go by.
It's a good quote. I'm inspired.
I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah, that does not work. What do you mean? You're just going to let the entire world just pass you by while you sit on your porch in a rocking chair? That's not living life. You may have peace of mind.
Yeah, I get a lot of these.
Who are you
Self-love I'm not following any of these people. Self-love is a compass that helps you navigate difficult moments in various situations. When you sharpen your idea of self, clarity is a gift.
I wonder if I did something in my. I mean, literally getting nothing but people that I follow.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I'm getting a few that say that they were reposted, or retweeted, but
that happens on Twitter too.
Right.
Yeah, it's all the, but it's not. I've been in a mood
at
like
MLB at San Diego Wave.
all of the content that I'm seeing these days is on my nerves. Every bit of it, all of it, all the golf content's driving me crazy. Like I saw Justin Thomas and Ricky and
at the at Wimbledon.
Wimbledon. I mean, I saw 4,000 horrible jokes. Justin Thomas dressed like Colonel Sanders, hammered at Wimbledon. I mean, I saw the same joke 1,000 times on Threads, and I'm like, just had enough. Just had enough. Need to disappear for a while. A couple more seltzers, I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Paulie.
You're very welcome.
Update on Threads there in our Rindle Report. If you want to join us, we're still taking your summer vacation nightmares. We really haven't gotten many or any so far.
Many? Do you mean any?
Any. 833-288-0973. You can join us. Phone lines are open on Ben and Wood's summer break after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Been talking about summer vacations and road trips here on our Ben and Woods summer break. If you want to join us, you can. 833-288-0973. Maybe a road trip gone bad like this one for a Kansas City Chiefs super fan who actually had been on the run for 4 months, kind of a 4-month road trip as he tried to elude authorities on bank robbery charges back in Kansas City. He was arrested in California, in Sacramento, after apparently a string of robberies all the way through the Midwest.
Bro, this
banks.
story was nuts. What do they call him again?
Well, his Chiefs, his fan nickname is Chiefsaholic. Apparently was the diehard fan who dressed in a gray wolf suit for games and was often shown on television.
My man's been robbing banks across the Midwest from March to December of 2022, Ben. Robberies in Nebraska, Iowa, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Minnesota. I'm pretty sure I've seen this guy on the broadcast before. Big gray wolf. And yeah, so they have busted him. He's in jail now. Who would be our guy? It would be like Bolt Man.
I haven't seen Bolt Man in a while.
Maybe he's on the run.
It could be
like Padre Libre.
I actually maybe. I always feel like grown men in costumes kind of weird me out a little bit.
Well, I mean, they could be bank robbers. You never know.
Dr. Death, like the Raiders fans.
Yeah.
And you got the guy in the wolf suit. You got Bolt Man. It just always,
I
felt a little weird about it all.
Well, it's not for you. It's really not for me either. But I can understand, wanting to support your team in a big way, but dressing in a hot ass like wolf, it just reeks. And then, but I mean, it's smart because the guy never showed his face and clearly got away with a few of these bank robberies until he didn't.
His
And
real
now he's
name
in jail.
is Xavier Babudar, 29 years old.
He said he made off with about $800,000 to finance his activities. They did say at one point he was homeless. I'm like, but he's homeless. He's going to these Chiefs games, which cannot be inexpensive to do, but maybe that's how he financed everything. So they got him in custody, got him locked up. I've never been a big dresser up type guy.
No.
I don't even really wear jerseys of guys.
I mean, even on our dress up, you just went with a Hawaiian shirt there.
Yeah.
Summer vacation garb.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow we can dress up in summer vacation garb. It's not going to look much
Face
different.
paint, never been a big face paint.
Don't think
person.
I've ever painted my face, even when I was a little kid. I dressed as Kiss and did that, but I didn't go to games and stuff for it. But yeah, it's a different scene for sure.
If you were ever on the run,
oh God, good question.
Like, what would you do?
I don't have the stomach for it, man.
It'd be stressful. Like,
yeah, you think about these
paying,
guys
like paying cash at motels for the
Yeah.
night and then having to move on and
then
never
they-
staying too often in one place.
Yeah, you're not sleeping, right? You're not sleeping. Where would you go? Go to like Menifee or something. Just try to disappear. You need to go far away, and you'd have to drive there.
Yeah,
you'd have to be careful, and you'd have to be in a different car. It's not that I haven't thought about being on the run. I think I would make it one day and turn myself in.
The movie The Fugitive, always a great one
my
with Harrison
God,
Ford,
makes
but
my
very
stomach
stressful. Very stressful to know at any second, they're about to close in on you.
Well, and he thinks they're going to get him so many times, and he shaves the beard. Hey, Doc, you see this guy? Every day when I look in the mirror, pal, except for the beard, of course. I mean, it just makes your stomach in knots. I don't have the stomach for crime anymore. I just don't. I never want to feel handcuffs again. I never want to get in any trouble again, ever. I'm just terrified of it. And I could never go on the run. If they were looking for me, I'd be like, you got me. You got me. I don't know what to do. I could never run. You could never run.
No,
you could never commit a crime.
No, I don't think so. I can't even pull off a prank phone call without your guys'
You
help.
can actually. You did it. You did it over the week, last week.
Well, I was gone.
Yeah, while you were
amazingly
gone.
on Friday morning.
Yeah, you did. Let's hear it. You have it.
Thank you for calling another Broken Egg and Fairhope. This is Marissa. How can I help you?
Good morning. I'm excited.
For what?
What was the score of the Aztecs game?
I don't really watch sports.
The first half, the Aztecs dominated. Maybe the best half they've played all season. I got called out by my 19-year-old last night.
You got what?
I got called out.
Poor girl.
To choose, though, Reese Kinnear as the person to set the tone in your game, to me, is an indictment of a couple of things.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
How is it hanging?
How is it hanging, Ben? You asked her.
I like good, firm banana.
What?
The Lakers shot 57% as a team and still lost that game.
That's it. That'll do it.
Finally drove her. I mean, good, like what? Minute and a half at least.
Now you know how I feel. When you're jamming Lakers talk into my ears. I feel like Marissa.
Our pal Corey Stewart was in studio with us Friday, Ben.
Yeah.
And we played that and we talked just like we did right now about how it was the Lakers talk that got her to hang up. And Corey delivered the line,
of the decade.
The year. Oh, just like I don't know,
Just like your
95% of your audience
Yeah.
hangs up virtually when Ben starts talking Lakers.
See if you can find it was the greatest. It's the like I think we've delivered some good one-liners over the years. Corey's got us beaten. He beat us. He said, like your audience when Ben starts talking Lakers.
So you don't want me to talk about Victor Wembanyama at G League and shutting him down for the summer, and that's it? You're good? Fair enough.
Yep.
Thank you for turning me into a
prank caller.
A prank calling
you're like
perpetrator.
You're like the Jerky Boys. You're amazing. Did you like that prank call?
I mean, I felt so bad for that lovely lady. Where was that? Was another Broken Egg Cafe in Alabama?
Alabama. Fairhope, Alabama.
What made you choose Alabama?
We wanted somewhere in the South. We tried somewhere on the East Coast. It didn't work. And so we were like, all right, let's go to the South. They're nicer. And we did. And we had several hangups. I mean, I'm talking 45 minutes of trying to get one. And finally, when she said, I don't follow sports, I went, that's it. We're good. We got her. And then I called her back and apologized. And she was so kind and lovely and said, yes, you guys can go ahead and play that on the air. So it's your first prank call. It's a big deal. It's what you do in summer break. You make prank calls and screw around with your friends. And you did great. And I'd like to hear more of them, if I'm being honest with you. I'd like to hear way more prank calls. Somebody said, do one with the I likes. Fine by me. Fine by me.
You need me to go on vacation again to make this happen?
Sure don't.
And do that one
Surely don't.
All right, we got one segment left. Summer break continues for Ben and Woods. Last chance to get in your phone calls, 833-288-0973, going until 10 o'clock on this All-Star Game Tuesday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So I'm not allowed to talk basketball anymore.
No.
Right.
And
Actually, not true.
No.
We discussed basketball yesterday, Woods, and you wanted to get Ben's opinion on the tournament.
The in-season tournament.
He just, though, at the break proposed, hey, should we talk about the golf hearings that are going on? I go, dude, come on. I love golf like you do, but I'm trying to keep listeners here.
Senate hearings.
Yeah, give me more. I need more from your
and
vacation.
Sports
You
washing.
were gone for 5 days.
I mean, the idea of my vacation was to do as little as possible.
I went to Palm Springs for 12 hours.
Yeah,
I
you had
came
a-
home with 40 stories. I
You
had
did.
to. I had to get. I brought up like, oh, and then Taylor broke a glass. Like that was the 9th out of the 12 stories I had. You had nothing happen. Nothing fun.
I literally shut down, relaxed. My kids are of an age that they do the same thing.
What do they do on vacation?
They lay by the pool just like me. They
Don't
spend
you get bored?
time out there.
You guys get bored laying by the pool.
I
get
didn't notice
massively
anyone getting bored, especially where we were. Everything's kind of
I'm making
all
about 30
included,
minutes.
so you just go and grab drinks and whatever, and you're just sitting there, and the time flies.
Did you let your kids booze it up?
They kind of snuck some snips.
See,
Sips
that's
here and
what
there.
I'm talking about.
Well, it took us 3.5
That
hours.
3.5 hours. That's what I'm talking about.
I can make it 30 minutes sitting by a pool.
I can't even make it 30. I was looking at my legs yesterday. Edward from Twilight had more color on his legs than my legs have.
I was trying to get some of the farmer's tan out. Did
Yeah.
I do any of
No,
it?
not really.
I have such a golf
No.
tan.
It's very golfy. I
Mm.
have that too, but I went out to the backyard. Sun beats right down upon me. Put a little bit of sunscreen on, you have to. So I laid down. I said, I'm going to get these legs nice and bronzed. You guys work 4 hours with me. I'm fidgety as all get up. You think I'm going to lay there and relax? 6 minutes. I was like, I can't do this. I was roasting. It was hot. I was like, this sucks. I'm
You
bored out of my
literally would
mind.
have to fall asleep in the sun to actually
Someone
get a
would,
tan.
would have to hit me with a hammer on the head and knock me out because I couldn't sleep in the roasting hot sun. Maybe today after two Sunny D cocktails I could, but I just am not. I can't lay out. It's not my idea of relaxing. My idea of relaxing is lying in my bed like a slob, like a sloth and a slob. I
Matt-
stay in the room. on
Matt in the
vacation.
YouTube chat says I get very bored by the pool on the beach. Not at all, and I can agree with that. I don't know why, but
It's
I
not
get bored by
comfortable
the
on the
pool.
beach, though.
Oh, I can fall right asleep.
Do you lay on just a towel?
Towel, blanket,
So
whatever.
sandy.
I think on the beach you've got the white
waves,
noise
yeah.
of the waves, and
Yeah.
the ocean can be somewhat calming. I did play pickleball for the first time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's harder than I thought.
Yeah, people make it seem like it's so easy.
It looks
It's
like
not.
you're just standing. Now I played singles against my brother. Kind of taught me because he's been playing a little bit, and he said
Sammy?
doubles. Yeah, doubles is a little bit easier because you don't have to cover the whole court.
Did
But,
Sammy mop the floor with you?
I mean, he definitely beat me pretty easily, but I got my good shots in. I got a couple. I got a hang of it. You know, he gave me the strategies. You got to charge to the net if you return the serve deep almost every time. It's like a serve and volley type game,
Right.
To do it effectively, and you got to get the smash, and you got to go for your shots because it's really hard. It's really hard to kill it because you can't go into the kitchen, which is the area, right? You can't play a ball unless it bounces near the net. You have to keep your feet behind the line there. So
Can you does everything have to bounce?
No, it doesn't
okay.
have to bounce, but if you go into the kitchen, it has to bounce. So you can't smash it like right at the net. You can't just be standing at the net.
Got it.
And smash it. You have to stand back, which also makes it hard because you want to lob it over their head, but we're
The
both
court's not
tall
that
and the
big.
court's not that big, so it's hard to lob one over someone's head.
So
too.
one of my neighbors put in the painted
The pickleball
on the
lines.
street, the pickleball lines, and they drag a net out there, and I see them out there playing almost every day, and I still don't have any desire for it. You know how I feel about ping pong and stuff, and playing
It's like the fastest growing sport in
playing
America.
playing big ping pong doesn't do much for me, right?
It's much more exhausting than ping. It's like ping pong, but you get really a good
tired.
workout in. I mean, you move around quite a bit, more than I expected on pickleball.
Yeah, I feel like I would roll an ankle.
It happens, yeah, for sure. Quick movements. There's been an ACL rupture or two
Yeah.
in the history of pickleball, that's for sure. Got to be careful about that sort of thing.
No, it seems like a fun summer activity. One thing that I love to see is I wish I was better at is beach volleyball. Because I really enjoy playing, but on a very novice level, like us three nerds against three other loads, that'd be fun. But the serious ones, the guys that are like, when I see them down at like Moonlight playing, I'm like, God dang, dude, that is no joke. But I really enjoy beach volleyball. I think it's fun. You get some color.
Oh, I loved rushing the net on that.
The guys who can actually like jump from the sand and get over the net and spike it. I'm going, how can you jump in sand?
So
I can't
cool.
jump on a basketball court. Now you're trying to jump in sand and get up over the top of the net to spike the ball down.
I had the feeling this morning as I was walking out to my car. Once a year, I go get in the water. Once. And I feel like, man, with my hands, I was telling Paulie, my hands are killing me. I can't play guitar. I really can't play baseball. It's hard to even throw with Bo. I can't play golf.
You bought a hand massager.
I did. I bought a hand massager.
On Amazon.
And you put your hand in it, it massages your hand. It's really good. I bought that sober.
Yeah,
by
like
the
you
way.
stick your hand inside of it.
And
It's like a glove, but it looks like a waffle iron.
Yeah. And you put your hand in it and it massages your hand. $70 on Amazon. It was very highly reviewed. And I own that now. And it's great. I really enjoyed it.
Buy another one and just keep it in the studio.
What if here's what I decided. I need two.
Yeah.
One for
Same
each
time,
hand.
yeah.
And you just sit.
You get it done twice as fast.
Well, no, one for each hand.
Yeah.
And you just, you do twice as fast. You just one for
I
each.
mean, does it work for both hands, or do you need a specific, a left-handed one and a right-handed
It's
one?
perfect. One for both hands. So, but the ocean's been calling to me. Maybe we try surfing as a show.
I saw a terrible story. Professional surfer who got
God.
killed.
Oh, never mind.
The other
Never
day.
mind. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah. Let's
The details on that were
I'm good.
gnarly. All right, let's
Never
check
mind.
traffic one more time. If we've got any calls, we will take them next. 833-288-0973. Back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Guys, let me give you the good news first. Improvements along the coastline if you're heading out of town, northbound side of the 5. They finally wrapped up their investigation of that fatal accident involving a pedestrian. So lanes no longer blocked north side of Cochineos. We still have this accident in the backup, though, at Barcelona. That is over to the right shoulder. Also going to find on the southbound side of the 805, right around Mira Mesa Boulevard, an accident involving a couple cars. They're over to the right shoulder. Stalled cars been pushed over the right shoulder, northbound side of the 805, right before Market Street. We're traveling on the northbound 15 Via Rancho Parkway off-ramp. There is a collision involving a couple vehicles. That is in the clearing stage. I'm Kelly Danick with Fentonwood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Let's go out to Ryan. Wants to talk some Padres with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Ryan.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
All right. I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day in San Diego. I just wanted to take this, this All-Star break time, and as the players reset and kind of recalibrate and get ready for the second half, we as fans, we have to do the same thing. You know, we're listening to you guys every day, and the fan sentiment just seems to need to be kind of dialed back a bit. And, I recall watching the Red Sox back when they hadn't won a World Series in forever. And you kind of rooted for those fans to beat the Yankees, beat the evil empire. Same thing with Cubs and Cardinals back in 2016, right? You're like, I want these guys to win. And then after they won, you go, man, I really hate Red Sox fans. I really hate Cubs fans now all of a sudden. And the problem is Padre fans have become these fans without having won anything. And so
who is your team? Who's your team?
Oh, Padres all the way,
okay.
baby.
So
So I'm just sitting there going, even being a San Diegan, you rooted for those guys before they won. Once they won, you go, man, they're so obnoxious. I can't stand them. We've become that already, yet we haven't won anything. So I just want the fans to just think of 2015, think of 99, 2000, when we were just terrible, and just take a moment and just be so grateful for this payroll, for these people we get to watch play for us that we would never have imagined. And let's just take a break from Twitter, as Woodsy has done, and I have done as well. Let's not be in the comment section. Let's just be positive here. We're gonna win, guys.
I like that. I like that sentiment, Ben.
I
because
think Ryan has brought up a topic actually that can carry us right through summer break this week. What makes Padres fans collectively as a group? I get we're all
the pain, I think,
a little bit different, but Ryan seems to think that we've we've gotten a little too arrogant for, our standing in the world of baseball. I don't know that that's true. I would say that Padres fans,
we paid our dues.
I'd say generally we always have a feeling like, what's the next shoe that's about to drop?
Yeah,
what's the
dude.
next bad thing that's going to happen? We're always looking, all right, things are going okay right now, but what's the bad thing right around the corner? I also think collectively we love to poke fun at the fan bases that take themselves too seriously.
Good point.
And yes, we will get into it with Dodgers fans and Red Sox fans and Yankees fans and Cubs fans. But I think it's always in a way that is designed to show, come on, guys, I know you've won some championships, but let's not be too serious about this thing. It's still kind of baseball. And a lot of Padres fans go about it that way. I don't necessarily think that we're an arrogant bunch.
I think we started the year as one, and I think we've been slapped down. I know I have. It stings, it definitely stings. You have egg on your face, certainly. But hey, man, it comes with the territory of being a fan. You'd rather have it this way than the other. Sitting in here this morning, breaking down, nothing against all the people that put their heart and soul into a draft. But 5 years ago, that would have been 4 hours of draft talk this morning. And what's the ceiling for Homer Bush Jr. and all of this? Now it's an afterthought. And you look at these guys as guys that are drafted to be traded to try to win a World Series. That's really, at least that's my perspective. I don't expect to see any of these guys in the big leagues for the Padres in the next 3 years. So I don't really care. Not to be a jerk. I don't really care. I want to win a World Series here. That's the most important thing. This city needs it. Our owner recognizes that. Our freaking fan base, arrogant, whatnot, pack that park every single night. Every single night. They're there, man. And I was wondering, with the way that the team had played this year, will be honest, I kept thinking, oh, Petco's it's gonna dry up a little bit. It's gotten more. It's bigger. And Don was talking about it over the weekend on the broadcast. And, when you have an owner that recognizes, okay, the city they're not starved, Peter. They're what's more than starved? I mean, they're like on life support.
Famished. Starved is about the same thing.
For a championship. And he says, okay, let's do what we need to do to get you one. It's not an easy road. For the best teams that spend the most money, it's still a really hard road.
The right thing, like if you're a Yankees fan, Dodgers fan, you approach every season as like, all right, well, show it to me. Let's show me how good you are this year. Because I know, usually we're pretty good, but how good is this year's team going to be? For Padres fans, we haven't been able to live that way. For most of my time growing up as a Padres fan, it's mostly show us how bad you're going to be this year.
Yep.
Like, how bad is it going to get this year?
Get me ready for the draft. Get me ready for these prospects, this hot talent.
When we do have a team like this year's that was loaded with talent, I think we all got a little more excited than usual about our team. Now, there's no reason for Dodgers fans to have been more excited about this year's team than any other year's team. In fact, probably a little more muted in terms of the enthusiasm because they didn't make any big moves in the offseason.
Way more muted.
Absolutely, Padres fans had every right to be more excited about this season than any other in franchise history going into it.
I think what he's saying is that excitement sometimes comes off as arrogance, and that's okay. You're right. I mean, here's the deal, though. This is the dumbest part about sports, but it's very true, and it remains in baseball. We always say we want one. Just get us one, and we're good. It's not the case. It's not the case. You're lying to yourself. I mean, yes, you got to get over that first hump. You got to get that first one. And then that stupid meme of the empty trophy case goes away forever, especially if you do it, and you will, in a 162-game season. That's one. You would actually, if the Padres won the World Series this year, you want to talk about bragging rights? You'd have one over the Dodgers. We did ours in 162. That was the promise of that was too great to bear, right? It was that was what made Padre fans most excited. Not only are we in a good position to win one this year, we're in a good position to win a real one. A real one. Give Clayton Kershaw 20 more starts that year. Would he have been that good in October? No. You know how I know? Because history has shown it every other year. That's what got Padre fans so excited. Real season, real team, full of all-stars, full of former all-stars, full of champions, guys that have won. That's what got Padre fans so excited. I saw some arrogance, sure. Was part of some arrogance, absolutely. Beat my chest a little bit too much, sure. Learned a valuable lesson, but doesn't change the fact that this city is still showing up for this team, and this team needs to play better. They need to play better, and that remains to be seen if they will. I agree though with the step back, but I don't think you can be satisfied with. I love seeing a debilitated Xander Bogaerts playing. I love seeing Juan Soto with high numbers, but I love seeing him take 2 to 3 walks a game. I love seeing an aging Yu Darvish try to figure it out. Yes, it's fun to watch Stars, but it's fun to watch Stars at their highest level.
I think whatever happens the rest of this season, though, keep this in mind for next year as well. Even if the Padres don't make any big moves, there's no reason to think that they couldn't be really good next year.
100%. And nobody wants to talk about next year, or myself included.
Yeah.
That's the hard part to say, well, at least we still have a really good core. Well, if we had a really good core, it's going to be the same core. They need to win this year too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, though, if the Padres end up missing the playoffs, they're going to come back next year and the park's going to be half empty. No one's going to renew their season tickets. I totally disagree with that. And I think you'd be kind of foolish.
Well, I'll be in here beating my chest about next year too.
To think that way. I think the Padres, no matter what, they're going to have great players. They're going to have Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Xander Bogaerts and Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish. They're going to have a great nucleus, and then whatever surrounds it, they're going to have to come together and play well, and they're going to have to win some close games, something they haven't been able to do this year. But if they do, they can certainly be contenders next year as well. So keep that in mind going into whatever this offseason looks like. It doesn't need to have a huge splash. AJ doesn't need to win the offseason.
No,
you need your players to play well during the season and find a ways to win those games that they have really not been able to win so far this year.
And this team, maybe more than any other team in baseball, Ben, maybe any other team in baseball, this is your team. Love them, hate them, whatever. These are the guys you're going to be with for the next at least 5 to 6 years at a minimum. So you either better get on board with them and root them on or boo them, whatever you want to do. But almost more than any other team in baseball, Ben, we've got a 5, 6, 7 man core that we're going to be rolling out there.
This hour on Ben and Woods been brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com, check out the possibilities. Cars.com, where to next? Well, we'll continue our summer break with Ben and Woods tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. We'll also talk about the All-Star game tonight. See if Juan Soto, Josh Hader make an appearance, do anything noteworthy in the game. Talking about it tomorrow morning for Paul Reindl, Stephen Wood, and Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us here at 97.3 The Fan.